All right, here we go. Jason Lee of Hollywood Unlocked. Welcome back to VladTV.
Part 2.
Part 2. I did your show last time.
You did.
Did pretty big numbers too.
It did great.
Yeah, it was a cool interview.
Everybody enjoyed it. You know, I knew that they were going to enjoy it because like I told you, my interview here, everybody's enjoyed it. I think you're super thorough and I felt great about it.
I guess Rihanna reached out to you, said she was going to watch it.
She did. I mean, she watches all my shows, but that one she was like, yo, you got the GOAT. So, okay.
She called me the GOAT.
She did.
I actually interviewed her way back in the day. I'm sure she doesn't remember it. I just happened to be in Def Jam at the time.
Yeah.
I had my camera with me and she was there. I was like, oh, can I interview her? They're like, well, yes, but she's not wearing her makeup, so you have to cover the lens.
Yeah.
So it was like an audio interview. I don't know what happened to it, but there was really nothing to talk about. So she was like brand new. I didn't really know too much about her.
She's one of the women that I can think of, just as you were saying she wasn't wearing makeup, who's extremely beautiful without makeup too.
Yeah, she's pretty.
Nah, she's awesome.
Also really tall. People don't realize that.
Very tall.
Yeah. She was like my height with heels.
Yeah, she's tall.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of stuff happening right now. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, let's go.
Kanye, someone who you used to work for.
Yes. I would like to say work with, because I want to be very clear.
Okay.
And when I told Ye I was going to work with him and not for him, when you work for somebody, you have to do everything they tell you to do. When you work with somebody, you talk about what you're going to do with them, and then when they choose to do things you don't agree with, you abstain and let them do it themselves. At least in my experience.
Well, Kanye's former chief of staff, Milo something.
Yes.
I don't know his last name.
Yes, I don't either.
But he claims in a new social media post that there's this dentist that got Kanye hooked on nitrous oxide.
Really?
And he's been spending $50,000 a month, which is why he hasn't been able to put out music or fashion, even though he just dropped an album just the other day.
Yeah.
Have you heard this?
No. I haven't heard that. I heard some other rumor, and it was so ridiculous that I didn't even pay full attention to it, but how would he get him addicted to carbon? What is it?
Nitrous oxide.
Yeah, what is that? That's the stuff that you get when you go to the dentist?
Yeah, laughing gas.
Yeah. I don't know Ye to do drugs, so I wouldn't see that. But then again, I haven't been around, so I don't know.
Well, he definitely drinks.
Oh, he drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, people think of, I guess alcohol can be looked at as a drug.
Well, wait, hold on. Let's keep it 100. Remember, he went on that one rant because he said after he got lipo, he got hooked on opioids.
Okay.
He did say that.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm saying during the period in which I was there, I didn't see him do drugs. So,
okay. People got to do drugs off to their own. I'm not saying he does drugs either. Yeah,
but I don't know that world. First of all the people around Ye are weird. And I feel, and I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way unless they feel that way, and I wouldn't care. But I feel like all the people around him need him or need to be around him to be talked about, because this Milo person we would not be talking about unless he was around Ye. And everybody else that was around at the time would not be talked about unless they were around Ye. And I think the one thing that he does that's unfortunate is he allows all these people to use him to be able to be talked about. I don't know why he would be addicted to what is it again?
Nitrous oxide.
See, I was going to say carbon monoxide. What is that?
Carbon monoxide? That comes out of a car. Yeah.
Either way, it's dangerous. It could be dangerous. I don't know him to be addicted to it, but then again, why do we know he's addicted to it with this guy,
Well, yeah. I actually reached out to someone in his camp.
Into Ye's camp or Milo's?
Ye's camp. I don't know anyone from Milo's camp. I don't think
I don't even know if Milo has a camp.
He doesn't have a camp.
But he might have a camp now that we're talking about this camp.
And they said the story is absolute rubbish.
Yeah.
And that Milo is basically just a loose cannon.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when I left as head of media, I think Milo replaced me in some way to be like the voice of Ye, which was crazy because that was around the time that he had linked up with Candace Owens, then he had linked up with Milo and all these super right-wing people, MAGA people, and then had the internet just going crazy with all these statements of Ye. And the thing I know about Ye is he doesn't like people releasing statements on his behalf. One thing I'll tell you that I don't think I told anybody was when I was working with him, my role was so gray around there to the public that I wanted it to be very clear. And somebody internally tried to leak what I was doing as a way of, making people question my intentions. So I released my own statement. And Ye was pissed about that, but like I told him, I need to operate in black and white. I don't operate in gray, even though I know gray is one of his favorite colors when it comes to, the Yeezy world. But, in the Jason Lee world, I like things to be black and white. Milo just seems like a cloud chaser, and unfortunately, Ye is not going to do anything to control it.
Well, I don't know if you know about Milo's background, but he had made some very messed up comments about and statutory and stuff like that.
That he did.
Milo did.
Right.
Which is why he was actually fired from Breitbart and all this other stuff.
Right.
You know?
But isn't he like a pro-Trumper, right? Or pro-MAGA?
I don't know what the hell he is.
I think so.
I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
You know, but there's definitely some what they call PDF file comments.
But then, but see, and then this goes back to, again, you know, not really understanding what was going on in Ye's mind with rebuilding his team after we all left, because the people he had were really solid. I mean, he had a really good team of people who were there. And now he's in this whole lawsuit with his former assistant, Lauren, who was a great girl, by the way, and who was probably a better assistant than a lot of the people that I've ever seen in life.
This is the white girl.
Correct.
With the body.
Beautiful body. Beautiful body, and you know, she's literally the don't judge a book by its cover, because when you talk to her and when you see her move and how she works, she's really solid, and she was super loyal to Ye. The thing that I hate about watching her go through what she's going through is she's super non-problematic, and she became the one-point person for all of us to Ye, because he decided to become a ghost one day and said that ghosts can't be seen or heard, so nobody could reach him. He changed his number, and only Lauren could talk to him, so we had to call Lauren to talk to him. So a conversation with Ye would be me calling Lauren, Lauren calling Ye, Ye telling Lauren what to tell me, Lauren calling me, and then me telling Lauren to call Ye. And that would go on for several months. Even when he moved to Japan, that was happening. So to see Lauren going through it is just crazy.
So do you believe that he sexually harassed Lauren?
You know, I saw that. I can say that I never witnessed that. Every time I witnessed them together, it was professional. But think about this, his entire world was managed by this one person and all the craziness going on. So if Meta was taking down his Instagram, I was dealing with her and Instagram to get the Instagram back. If the divorce attorneys wanted to track him down to talk to him about court with Kim, she had to facilitate all the accounting, photos. I mean, she literally was the gatekeeper. So I know she worked closely with him. I know that Bianca, his girl, lived in her apartment building. So and they used to be cool, I believe, and then he would then go to her house while she was at her house. I mean, it became this really crazy relationship, but I don't know. I didn't see Ye sexually, harass her.
So was Bianca around when you were working with him?
I never saw her, but they were cool.
Okay.
Because they were friends and neighbors.
Yeah, I guess as an employer who has like a dozen or so employees, I would not hire someone that looked like Lauren.
Why?
Just because it seems like you're just asking for problems. You know what I mean?
But here's where I would argue. Here's where I'll push back. Listen. If you go down her Instagram page, right, and you look at her beauty and her body and all of that, yes, you can look at her and it's easy to objectify her or sexualize her that way because it's a very visual experience on social media. But when I tell you how hard this woman worked, how articulate and smart she is, how she protected him in many ways. Because when I would call and want to get information to do what I needed to do, and there were like crazy things were happening at the time. You had Kris Jenner, you had a lot of craziness going on. Okay, Imagine Kanye West, just with a camera, this one. Kanye West, a cultural icon who is a loose cannon on social media with millions of followers, going up against the Kardashian clan. Like, you can't even get enough Wheaties in your system to deal with that shit, right? But then Lauren is like the referee, gatekeeper, all of this and that. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's fair to look at her and say you say you wouldn't hire her. Yeah, okay, well, that's a personal choice. But she's very professional.
I'm not saying she's not. And it's not that people are just randomly objectifying her. I mean, she got her whole body done and she puts her whole body out there on Instagram.
This body right here is brand new. I paid for this body $11,000 to have a gastric sleeve because I was fat as hell. I weighed 323 pounds. I mean, if a dog chased me, I would probably fucking die of running out of breath. And I had to, in order to not be pre-diabetic, to lose the inflammation, to lose the sleep apnea, and to be able to dress in designer, lose the weight. So I paid for the new body. I paid for the new body in reverse.
Okay, but I don't think that she paid to have her ass and breasts done because of a health situation that she was trying to walk her way out of. I don't think so.
Could have been, Vlad.
I don't think so. As a heterosexual male, I think if you just keep putting that around me day after day, and remember there was like text messages she posted up, and he's like, "Yeah, I want to masturbate to like a white girl with a black girl ass."
Well, I think he said he had a racist dick or something.
A racist dick. You know, you see what I'm saying?
Listen,
you see where the Vlad logic is now actually coming to fruition?
Here's what I will say. The thing about Ye that's going to prevent him from getting out of trouble as it relates to his text is he texts in a very specific way. Every line has to be spaced out between the next line. So if I text you a 75-word text, it has to be on its own line. He will not read a text that is grouped together. It has to be spaced out. So if you ever see a text like that, possible it did come from him.
Yeah, like I'm saying, considering that that's also his type of woman, if you think about it, I mean, she does have a Kim and Bianca kind of look to her. White girl with, a BBL and large breasts and lipo and so forth. You're probably going to have some problems along the way.
Yourself, meaning he would.
I would, and obviously not obviously, but it seems like he did as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, again, it's just unfortunate. I have a gay executive assistant who's gay. The reason why I choose to have a gay executive assistant is because I'm a gay man, and when I travel around the world, when I was out in the world, I want to have somebody with me who understands how I move. I did hire a woman before, and it just didn't work out. I asked her one day, by the way, it's a funny story. I'm sitting in my house. I go, "Is this firewood, Kindle? What do you call it? Kindle? What is that word?
Kindle, yeah.
Yeah. Is that Kindle? She goes, "I don't know. I'm not a camper." I was like, what the fuck wrong with her? You're out of here. But anyway, I'm not attracted to my assistant. I would never cross that line. I'm very clear about boundaries. I don't know that Ye is the most aware about boundaries. You seem like you set boundaries. Plus, you're not malnourished when it comes to love because, you're good. You're good.
I'm all right, but temptation is temptation.
Temptation is temptation.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't put someone who I'm exactly attracted to, my exact type, as my assistant.
But maybe you do it as a way of developing better self-control.
Yeah, okay. How did that work out for him?
There's
a lawsuit in place. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I mean, can we say at this point, after all the anti-Semitic rants and everything, that Kanye is just no longer canceled? I mean, he had a #1 song. The album did great. Vultures 2 is out.
Amazing album. I mean, I always said from the beginning.
I don't know about amazing. It was pretty good.
I mean, there's some amazing songs on there.
I had a few tracks.
I won't say it's like, Ultralight Beam where I played it from beginning to end, whatever. But I'm also not a hip hop head like that. You know more about hip hop than I do. Like, I said from the beginning, I believe cancel culture just rents space in all of our head. It's a temporary thing, and people try to hang on to it. And he is a cultural icon. I said that if he puts out a pair of shoes, it's gonna sell out. He's just, that's what he is. And that, I think, is the thing Charlamagne was talking about, that, we have this sick relationship with him where you cancel him and then he comes back, he's uncanceled, and he's canceled. So I don't know if he's uncanceled. I think there's probably spaces in which, people will probably not deal with him. I don't think Balenciaga's going to do a deal with him after what he did.
Well, yeah, corporate America, I think, is probably done with Kanye because it's too dangerous.
Yeah.
You go and do this deal and you invest hundreds of millions and so forth, and suddenly he goes off and does God knows what.
Or just decides that he doesn't want to do it anymore.
He doesn't want to do it anymore. Yeah. And, whether it's Adidas or a world tour that he just randomly cancels one night.
Yeah.
And everything shuts down, and, you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars of damage that go along with it. I think if you're like a public corporation.
Yeah.
You're probably going to say, nah, we're good.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a private company, sure.
Yeah.
Probably make some money with them.
I mean, I understand what he was trying to illustrate, how he said it was wrong, how he went about it was wrong. The White Lives Matter post with Candace Owens, wrong. The anti-Semitic comments were wrong. But I think in a weird, sick way, and I think I've said this to you, I've said this to somebody, that he's proving his point of saying that we as black people that don't own stuff or whatever, can be canceled or have everything taken away. I think he used himself in a way to claim being a martyr, which isn't going to make sense to anybody.
No.
But in his own sick way will make sense to him.
Well, he did it to himself.
Because
without those anti-Semitic rants, we'd all be looking forward to the new Yeezys again.
Right. But in a weird, sick way, he will say, "I told you." And I think people have to understand accountability culture is a real thing that everybody should have. And I think that when you say things to intentionally hurt people, communities, groups, or whatever, that you should be held accountable. But at the same time, I think as black people, and this is what I believe, being somebody that's created his own, literally rag to riches story, who came from nothing. I was here and told my whole story, which, by the way, everybody that listens to your interview now knows me because they've heard everything.
Thank you.
So thank you for that. I don't find excuses in people or groups of why I don't have shit. Like, you get up every day with the opportunity to get shit, and you just get it, or you don't, but you have to own your don't in it. And I'm not saying that to say that I'm anti-reparation or anti-DEI or all that, because all those things are important too. But I also feel like Ye has been blessed in a way that a lot of people have not been able to be blessed with, building community. We had a conversation where the Saudis were going to give him $1 billion to build his own infrastructure, to have his own everything.
Really?
So why even care what Gap and Balenciaga or Adidas are going to do when you have $1 billion and you have the Saudis backing you? Yeah, that's what we were building. So how is it that, I don't even know how he got distracted by all that.
What exactly was he going to build with that $1 billion?
What we were building was this company called Donda, which under it had multiple pillars. And under my pillar was, he approached me and said, he wanted to do the interview. We did the interview. And after he saw the interview and after we did the Black Future Brunch, and he saw the power of bringing a community of people together who are storytellers, he said, well, what if we bought all of these properties, all these media properties? I said, and he listed all of the ones that he wanted to buy. You weren't on the list, but
it's okay.
Important one, but I don't think you would have sold. But anyway, he had all this list, and so I was on top of that, kind of guiding the vision of what that would look like and how we can create this ecosystem where, we could, control the narrative for the culture. This is when I thought this was the Ye who was coming back to the culture, who was focused, who was getting healthy, who was going through his stuff. And then we had fashion and music and then all these different pillars, right? Education, so we had the school, and he had hired the most amazing team of people on each pillar. And that he was going to get funding for that. And they had made a commitment of $1 billion. He just had to go to the Saudi Arabia to finish the process. And he ended up not going, and the team went without him, and it became this whole thing. And I didn't go, of course, but
he didn't show up to $1 billion meeting. Is that the most Kanye thing to do ever?
So, mind you now, okay, let's for the sake of better words, get in my shoes, okay? I'm in this thing, this bubble, building this thing that I believe in because I've been advocating for Black-owned media and really wanting to, drive home the ability for us to own our voices and stuff. Here I am watching this all unfold where, why are we fighting with Adidas and Gap when we have the commitment to build on our own? That is still the one thing in me that I just do not understand from that whole experience of how we lost sight of the vision and how we got distracted and derailed into all of that. But that's why I stepped away, and he respected me doing that. And that's why I still have love for the guy. I haven't ran into him in a while, but if I did, it would be all love. And, yeah.
Well, when I had Gilbert Arenas on my show recently, and keep in mind, Gilbert has an Adidas sneaker deal.
Yeah. He
originally had one. He lost it after the whole gun charge thing, but now, he's back with Adidas, and they're re-releasing the sneakers and so forth. He is convinced that Kanye purposely went on this anti-Semitic rant to get out of the Adidas deal because he wanted to take ownership of Yeezy himself, and he knew this was the only way he was going to actually be able to pull it off because contractually there was no walking away from that deal.
Okay.
Knowing Kanye, do you think this is... And I'm arguing with Gilbert. No, I'm telling you, he did this on purpose. Yeah. True or false?
Ye does not think like that. Let me give you an example. So the Gap, line that he created was so amazing. By the way, I have the whole line because it never came out, and I got mine before it went away.
I got one of the hoodies, and it was
The hoodie came out, but everything else
pretty lame actually. It's like goes up to like your belly button. It was like a little weird.
For me,
I don't have the body type.
For me on a Friday night, I may do the belly button thing. But no, I mean,
I got an extra one. If you want it, man, you can have it.
No, I have the whole line.
Okay, I got
But he, this was going to be Balenciaga, was Yeezy Gap engineered by Balenciaga.
Yeah.
Right before the line drops, Balenciaga, they're going to do all the colors. Right before the line drops, he calls up Balenciaga and says, I don't want any of the colors to come out. Like, it's already created. The clothes are already done. So there's this whole back and forth, and then Balenciaga takes their name off of the project and doesn't release the Balenciaga clothes. So now it's just Yeezy Gap. Then the whole Yeezy Gap, the whole Yeezy and the whole anti-Semitic, all that stuff falls apart. The whole process falls apart, project falls apart. And then Gap, who had made the whole line in stores ready to go, had to trash the entire line. Millions and millions and millions of dollars. So I say that to say, do you think he literally sat up and said, I'm going to say this so I can get out of my deals and do it on my own, when we just passed up the $1 billion?
Yeah, probably not.
I just think it was impulsion. It was just him being impulsive and not really thinking through the consequences on one hand. But on the other hand, I still feel like in some sick way, it's him choosing to be a martyr to prove a point that I don't know if it's been proven.
Yeah, I was actually, I bought some Balenciaga slides a few weeks ago, and I had noticed that they had these like sock shoes.
Yeah.
You know, like those $20 ones that he's selling now?
Yeah.
And I was like, they looked exactly like the ones that he was selling.
Yeah.
You know, there's just basically socks with just a sole on the bottom.
But let me tell you how I think Adidas is full of shit. And this is where I have to be honest, and probably won't work with y'all after this one. But when I first got hired, one of the best parts of the job that I crafted for myself when I wrote out my own job description, what I was going to do, was I wanted to work with every brand that he touched, to work with them to reinvest in the Black community. So I thought, okay, I'm going to meet. So first thing I did as soon as I got in there, me, the president of Yeezy Gap, Leonardo Lawson at the time, and we met with Adidas and we met with Gap in Vegas. And I sat down with them and I said, how much money, this was to Adidas, how much money does Ye make Adidas? And they just kind of talk. I said, how much money has he made for the company? And they said $3 billion, about $3 billion. I said, $3 billion. Okay, what's the marketing budget and how much do you reinvest in the Black community? And it was a white man, and I want to say he was Asian, but they just kind of looked at each other, and I said, either you're confused or you don't know why I'm asking. And I'll tell you, I just believe that anybody that looks like me, that works with brands like you, should be pouring back into our community. And I don't know if Ye's dialed in enough to ask these questions, so I just want to know. Well, there's no real marketing budget because the hype beast around the Yeezy shoe.
Yeah, that's true. I've never seen a Yeezy ad ever in life.
So you mean to tell me you have a product that sells itself and makes $3 billion. There's no major allocation of money set aside for the shoe for marketing. And then I said, how much money do you pour back into the community? And the answer was alarmingly zero. And I just fundamentally had a problem with that. So you know what they did? Next couple meetings I went to, first they started offering me all the free Yeezys I can get. They were sending me Yeezys. I'm not a sneaker guy. I'll wear a Yeezy, but like a Yeezy's not gonna deflect from me focusing on what I want to focus on. So after all the Yeezys were coming and whatever, they brought in a Black man. Daniel. I'm like, hey, Daniel. Daniel was the Black man from Yeezy, from Adidas, who's going to partner with Ye to get everything right. Well, what happened was Daniel built this personal relationship with Ye to kind of get me out the way so they can buddy do whatever. And so Ye stopped really allowing me to push this reinvest in the school, reinvest in here and whatever. And then they became friends. Well, of course, like every relationship with Ye, that relationship went south very fast, and Ye went and made a whole dummy, like a big like a scarecrow dummy of Daniel, and like was hanging it and like putting it on social media to where now Daniel had to go get security to walk around with him, and now I think they're in some litigation or something. You know, the whole mastery of Adidas and how they preyed on Ye being not of sound mind, and used him the way that they did. And I mean, there's so many unreleased Yeezys because when he used to stay at the Soho House. He rented a whole floor. The whole room, I walked in one day and his creative team was there and he had so many different pairs of Yeezy ideas and concepts that I'm thinking this man is just this is a cash cow. Well, when they got the cow out the way, they still continue to produce things that look like his creation. And then they became this whole fight. And they were preying on the community, just thinking he was crazy. But in a lot of what he was saying about how they handled him and the equity that he wanted to get out of it, I mean, he believed he should have owned some of Adidas, which is crazy because that wasn't going to happen.
Well, he could buy a stock in Adidas.
He could have, but I mean, he probably even didn't give Kim stock. He gave Kim stock, so he knows how to get stock for different companies. But in that instance, I think it became a tug of war that became about ownership of a brand, meaning being on the board or owning or whatever, being the CEO of Gap. I mean, it became craziness instead of just building his own and moving on. But Adidas, you all are some shady people. They're taking $3 billion. And then, that's probably why they fired Beyonce, because Beyonce wasn't the cash cow over at Adidas. Kanye West.
Right. I mean, nobody was buying that Ivy Park stuff.
No, but having Beyonce and Kanye, it's like you have the best of both worlds. You have the best of the best.
Well, maybe on paper it appears like that, but people aren't dressing like Beyonce.
I agree. But I mean, in terms of brand recognition, having the Beyonce, but when they lost Yeezy and they had lost all that money, you throw the baby out with the bathwater. Beyonce went too, and they lost all that. So I don't know. Interesting to watch how they rebuild. Had a whole call with them and their whole team about how they want to invest in the Black community. That all went away too. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I was just going to mention that the Balenciaga sock shoes are exactly like the Yeezy sock shoes. And when I asked the saleswoman, I said, who came up with these first? And she's like, well, it's a little bit of a sore issue. We came out with them first, but I think there were some conversations ahead of time and whatever. But the Balenciaga ones are like $800 and the Yeezy ones like $20.
Right.
So, there's a lot of intermixing and so forth. And fashion in general is sort of weird because you could actually copy a fashion design as long as you make it like 10 or 20% different.
Well, I don't know those rules, but I know that him and the designer, I know it starts with the D. I'm bad. Him and Dema, the designer of Balenciaga, are really close. Like close.
Yeah.
So, maybe there was a late night sip of some Hennessy or something and, they looked at a sketch or two and then bam, we both got the same idea. I don't know.
Yeah.
Those are rich people problems. I'm broke compared to them.
Right. We're too broke to fully comprehend this right here. Yeah, we're not billionaires by any stretch of the imagination.
Nope. But I know this. If a billionaire called me from a country and said, I want to give you $1 billion to create, I'm sitting down and fucking create.
Yeah.
All this extra shit, the whole I don't even know how all the tentacles formed around what was happening. But I had to get up out of there. Because if you stay in a circus too long, you'll start wearing the paint.
This is someone who you've interviewed somewhat recently. Cardi B.
Yes.
Has now officially filed for divorce from Offset while pregnant with his third child.
And announced them on the same day.
On the same day. Divorce and pregnancy. There you go.
And a collection with Marc Jacobs.
That too?
Three announcements in one day.
Part. I missed that. Now, from what I understand, because, Wack 100 is now a regular guest on my show. And I remember he went into this whole story about how Offset, has slept with Krishan Rock.
Allegedly, I wasn't there.
Allegedly. Yeah. Well, but he said it. And I
guess,
he
was there?
Well, no, he wasn't there, but him and Krishan are obviously, in the same circle because of Blueface and everything else like that. And I guess the news had leaked out and Cardi B had called him, but basically was like, we're separated. So it's not a big deal that he's doing this because we're not really together.
Mm-hmm.
And you've heard about the separation. I think she'd actually filed for divorce before or whatever, but it is a little bit sad to announce a divorce and a pregnancy on the same day, just from a family standpoint.
I mean, listen, I love Cardi. She's like family, of course. Nobody wants to see somebody they love going through something so personal publicly. I think that she's done a really good job of protecting their relationship from her point of view in terms of, she's more recently gotten active on social media with saying what she felt about him. But if you remember when the first cheating allegation happened, she was actually protecting him from the fans who were attacking him, saying, let us deal with this privately. I think she's at a point now where she wants to be happy. I love the fact that she had all of her children with the one man that she was married to.
Mm-hmm.
And even if she had a plan to exit but wanted one more baby, which I know she's told me she wanted another kid, she got that baby and she did what she had to do. I've been giving her space because this is a lot for her to be dealing with. Plus, she's pregnant, and she was just in the hospital. And I'm always the ear there when she wants to talk, but I'm not going to be the person calling and saying, hey, what's going on, Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I just want her to be happy. I hope that this is her chance to move on and just be happy, and that he can move on and be happy, because clearly they both haven't been.
I mean, if they were separated, why have another baby? Is it just like shit happens, No,
Again, I think she wanted to have a third baby, and I don't think she wants to be a baby mama, or have a bunch of baby daddies. I think she has a husband and she has 2 beautiful kids with that man, and she had a third one by him. But I don't think her being a mom to these 3 kids, or him being a dad, because he is a good father, is going to be dependent on them being together. Because I just told one of my exes, good luck with your ex. Good luck going back to your ex, because a relationship a kid doesn't save a relationship, And I think that in her mind, not speaking for her, she wanted to have her babies with her husband, and that didn't necessarily mean that her husband had to be her husband forever. So
from your point of view, does it look like this divorce is actually going to go through and carry through? Because like I said, there's been other, we're getting divorced, but then they would retract it and so forth. Do you feel at this point they're actually going to get divorced?
I think Cardi's at a place where she really wants to get the second album out and focus on her career and do all the things. And it's coming. She does have an album coming.
Does she?
She does. I mean,
she's been in. How long has it been since her last album? Like 7 years or something?
6 years.
6, 7 years?
Been a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, less than Lauryn Hill, who's coming out with a second album, by the way.
Is she?
That's what they said online. I don't know. But I think
her tour just got canceled. You know about this, right?
Lauren, God bless Lauren.
No, listen, let me just go off on a tangent, because I actually broke this information recently.
Okay.
Because I know someone that's close to that whole situation.
Yeah.
And Lauren and the Fugees were about to do their 20th anniversary Miseducation of Lauryn Hill
it's
tour.
It's going to be a big deal.
It's going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
And then right 3 days before the first show, and it was like 21 dates, canceled.
Right.
Everyone got their money back. Everyone assumed, Lauren did something because, she's known for not showing up to shows, or showing up to shows and say, y'all lucky I'm even here, and so forth. But the reality is that people weren't buying tickets.
Really? I mean,
That's the reality.
I didn't buy any, but I would have bought some.
The reality is the pre-sale tickets were dismal to the point where Live Nation literally pulled the plug on the entire tour. Wow. Now, the UK tour is still happening, from what I understand. And you could say it's not Lauren's fault, but people are saying, well, it kind of is, because she has built up this decades-long reputation of always showing up late, showing up and performing poorly. Her voice is just, unrecognizable sometimes and so forth. So you could blame it on her, you could not blame it on her, but this is a message to all the artists out there. You will not be hot forever.
You won't.
Regardless of how great of a project you put out at some point, if you continue to abuse your fans and take them for granted,
they will go away.
Lauryn
Hill is the worst.
Is the perfect example of this.
Lauryn Hill was the worst celebrity experience I ever had in my whole life.
Really?
The worst. She was so rude. This is when I first had moved to LA, and I was a huge Lauryn Hill and Fugees fan.
We all are, yeah.
Huge. Iconic. And I went to a party. It was a Black Oscars party. I had just come to LA, and I was trying to network and figure things out. And Gayle King was sitting over here, and with, I believe, Quincy Jones. I went over to speak to Gayle, and then to introduce myself to Gayle, and I see Lauryn Hill coming through the thing. I'm like, oh my God. So I go up to her and I say, hey, hi, Lauren. And she wouldn't even cut me off, jumped back, snatched her hand, and she said, you will never refer to me as Lauren. You'll call me Miss Hill, and I don't shake hands, and walked away. That was our interaction.
Oh,
that was the only time I ever interacted with Lauryn Hill. Yeah. So I probably would have still bought a ticket, because she's Lauryn Hill and they're the Fugees. But that was the worst celebrity experience I ever had. Never forgot that. And it literally turned me off to her as a human being. I love her music, because I can separate the two.
Yeah.
But going back to Cardi, I am excited for her new chapter, because I think that in watching her evolution from when she first hit the scene to just honoring her at our award show last month, right? Cardi has been a champion of knocking down barriers for other women. We didn't have the Saweeties or the City Girls or the Megan Thee Stallions or any of these Lottos or Coil Ray, none of them, until Cardi came on the scene, as you know, when there was only one girl. really in the conversation. And I think that to be able to watch her do it, get attacked every time she gets pregnant, get attacked every time she drops something, every time, and then to go through all the personal stuff publicly, I do, when I FaceTime her, when we talk, I do get the sense from her that she is entering into a new era of happiness and literally has mentally let go of holding on to stuff that does not make her happy. And I get that from her. And I've been proud to watch that evolution because, when you have a friend that you just are cheering on and, you call every time they're going through something and want them to make decisions that make them a happier person, but you can't control them, you finally, it's a sigh of relief when you go, okay, finally, So I think she's finally moving forward. And, but I can come back and do another interview if it don't go that way.
Yeah, I almost feel with Cardi, it's almost like a, kind of like a Dr. Dre thing where the previous project was so big.
Yeah.
That dropping something that goes gold or just single platinum is going to be viewed as a failure.
Yeah.
So you just keep overthinking it and you keep redoing songs and keep trying new concepts and you're just not totally happy with it because you're worried about the backlash.
Well, I think that's where she is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I've heard some of the music and it's great. And I think for her, she has to get to a point where just put out the music and just keep putting out music. Because when she came out, she was the new fresh energy. And now you've got all these other people. So the landscape is even different. Music is changing. Platforms are changing. So, she'll be fine. Can I say something about Gilbert Arenas?
Go ahead.
His crazy ass. Gilbert, to find out that you came here, your crazy, scary ass won't come on my show. Gilbert is a friend. I love Gilbert.
Yeah.
He's my level of recklessness. He always says things that go viral. But he also has a heart. So one day I was in Atlanta with my friend Israel, and Israel says to me, "Hey man," he has these shoes on. I'm like, "What shoes are those?" He goes, "Oh, these are the new Gilbert Arenases." I'm like, "Gilbert Arenas has a shoe?" It's like, yeah. He goes, "Man, they're my favorite shoe. They're the most comfortable." He's breaking it down to me as if he's a rep for the shoe company. So I FaceTime Gilbert, and I'm like, "Hey, Gilbert, my boy here, a close friend of mine, he loves your shoes." Gilbert's like, "Man, text me his size, text me his address." Gilbert sent him one of every shoe he got, which I thought was like the nicest thing. And my friend went and did this whole video. It was so touching about how nice it was. But, those are the things that you won't hear about Gilbert, but he did. So I actually want to give you that, Gilbert, because your scary ass won't come on my show, so I can't tell you to your face. But I appreciate you, bro.
I love Gilbert, man. That's my man.
Yeah.
What's interesting, and I mentioned this sometimes in our interviews, is that when I first met Gilbert in 2013, it was at this Hollywood Hills party. And I was like, "Yo, I want to interview you." He said, "I don't do interviews." You fast forward 10 years, and he does interviews for a living now.
And he has a podcast. Yeah,
he has a podcast.
But everybody has a podcast.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, but he actually has done well with it.
Yes, no, that was my segue into saying, to all of you out there that have podcasts, and I'm one that has a media course teaching you how to start a podcast. You should take my course, but don't start the podcast. There are so many podcasts out there right now that I think that if you really want to do it and you believe in what your vision is and it's something you're going to do and you're going to take it serious, like you've built your platform, I built my platform, then you should absolutely do it. But there is so much out there in the world of podcasting right now, and a lot of people not saying much, that I ran into some content creators in West Hollywood. They go around, these two straight guys, they act gay and they go around asking gay people questions.
Wait, what?
But I watch all the shows and I watch all the content because I'm a connoisseur and I'm online and I see it. So I see these guys walking down the street. I say, "Hey man, do you guys want to interview me?" They didn't know who I was because they're young. Yeah, I want to interview. They thought they were going to ask me some gay questions. I was going to be afraid of them. Vlad, when I tell you, I took control of their show. Now they're begging me to come on their podcast. I'm like, no, because they found out who I am. But I don't think that everybody should have a podcast. But I do like Gilbert, if he's going to be as reckless as he is on Twitter, then yeah. But has he been that reckless on his podcast?
Yeah, he gets pretty reckless.
Okay.
There was the African comments.
Yeah,
I don't know if you got those. Yeah. But but I remember like me and Gilbert were talking about Sebastian Telfair, right? Who's a new regular guest on my show, former NBA player. And he was saying how like, yo, Sebastian wants to take this seriously. He got to really ruffle the feathers. He got to really put his whole into it. And like, that's what he's kind of been doing. I mean, he had made some comments about, Kobe cheating and stuff like that. And then Steven Jackson did a whole rant about him and stuff like that. "Oh, how dare you talk about this man? He's got a widow and whatever." And it's like, man, like, It is what it is. He's a man. He was a famous man. He was attractive. He was an athlete. He had side chicks. It is what it is. Like, you know.
Yeah, but you know.
Hey, listen, I don't like how people create gods out of humans.
No,
like, you know,
he
was perfect. He loved his wife and never had eyes. Like the Colorado situation proved what it was.
Yeah, I don't think that anybody should be treated as a god. I do think though, like a Nipsey Hussle who is deceased and who was important to the culture deserves some respect. But I do believe news is news. So if you talk about whatever we know, it is what it is, right? But I think it goes back to, are people doing podcasts just to go viral, or are you actually creating dialogue and conversation that happen to go viral? Because there are two different things. Whoa, Vicky will go viral saying nigga, nigga, nigga. Well, her white ass don't need to be saying nigga, nigga, nigga.
She does that?
Yeah.
Oh.
But I'm saying she does it because she
reached
knows.
out to me for an interview and I passed.
Please pass. I blocked her the other day. Girl, go get hooked on phonics and get some medication. But you know, it's like there are people that do things for the sake of going viral. Like when I go viral for something I said, I didn't intend to go viral. I just gave my opinion about something that went viral. And I think that now, but like your interviews that go viral because you're actually getting the shit that people want to hear or things that nobody were able to uncover. That's that exclusivity that goes viral. But now, like, let me like unearth Kobe Bryant and just talk about whatever I want to talk about that people may not know. I don't know. Like, if you had a threesome with Kobe and a fan, do we need to know that right now?
I mean, it was an offhanded comment. He basically said that Kobe wasn't in the clubs like that, but he did have some side chicks, and that was it. And then we went on to a different topic. Like, it wasn't even a big deal. You know what I'm saying?
That's a big deal.
Is it though?
It's a big deal,
but is it so shocking?
But I guess the evolution of Jason Lee, maybe. I don't know. I just think that, you know, there are things that like I have. If me and you are out somewhere and we're different because we're in the same industry, but I mean, if me and Cardi are in a car or me and Rihanna are on the phone and we talk about something or we experience something private, I don't talk about that stuff to nobody. And I think that's why when people question like, how is he close to Madonna? These people. Because I build a level of trust with people where they know, like, what you tell me in private time is private time. Now, as it relates to my professional responsibilities, working with Ye, the stuff with the Saudis and all that was stuff that's been out there. It's leaked. It just hasn't been put on a big platform like this. It's going to go viral now, probably. But I think that when it comes to those things, I mean, somebody that's dead can't respond to it. I don't know. But again, to each his own. I'm not here to judge. I watch it like everybody else.
Listen, do you think that suddenly people are going to look at him differently because he had a side chick at some point?
Oh, he's a man. So people are looking at him like a man.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
but he's a dead man that can't respond to
I know a girl that he tried to holler at one point. Not that anything happened, but she mentioned it to me. Whatever. It is what it is. Like, he got married when he was like 18.
But if somebody comes forward right now and says a story about what Bruce Jenner did to them, Bruce is dead. Do we talk about it?
Bruce Jenner is dead?
Yeah. Caitlyn Jenner is still alive.
Oh, okay.
So
I was like, wait a minute, what did I just
So
miss?
we have to let Bruce Bruce is gone. We can't talk about Bruce anymore. So any story related to Bruce can never be earthed, ever. I'm just saying, when people, because that's a dead name. That's what they call it, dead naming if you talk about Bruce. Caitlyn is here, Bruce is gone. So we have to let the dead be dead.
Well, speaking of Cardi B, you actually clowned Bia's diss track.
You think I clowned her?
Were you clowning it?
It was horrible.
So you're clowning it?
Yeah. First of all, Bia's birthday we have the same birthday. We're both Leos, August 16th. Happy early birthday, Bia. Bia thought I hated her for so long because my staff would write about her sneak dissing Cardi. And she would say, you're trying to create all these problems between me and Cardi. And I used to get on my staff like, hey, please don't create unnecessary beef between these girls if there's no beef there. And they were like, no, but she's sneak dissing her. And I'm like, well, she's saying she's not. This was going on and on and on. And then Cardi, felt the way she felt. And then I would say, oh, I talked to Bia. She's not sneak dissing you, whatever. And then all that happened. And it was like you started a beef with somebody who is 10 tiers above your career for no reason other than to pander to Nicki Minaj, probably. And it backfired on you because that was a horrible, horrible thing. It wasn't like when Remy went after Nicki and Sheether literally ended that beef, or Kendrick that just laid Drake to sleep, right, in one song. This was a poor attempt to get what? To get a moment that fizzled away and now nobody's talking about you. And I think that Bia's talented. She's beautiful. She has a lot of personality. She's a Leo like me. I mean, she had a lot of potential. She probably still does at some point, but that kind of was like ridiculous.
Well,
don't you think though?
I've never been a big Bia fan in terms of her music, personally. You know, we've done, I didn't do the interview myself, but there is a Bia interview on VladTV. So, I mean, I do appreciate her coming in. It's just not really my type of music. Like, her voice and her delivery just never really appealed to me.
The song she had with Russ, I can't remember, but I like that song.
Well, I mean, everyone, listen, maybe I haven't heard that song, but the stuff I have heard,
not a fan.
The Bia, like, it was sort of like, it's cool, but I would listen to like a Lotto before I listen to a beat. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my personal opinion. I'm also not a huge fan of female rappers in general.
Got it.
So you got to take that with a grain of salt, right?
Yeah.
But listen, beefing with someone above you will usually get you,
I mean,
the attention you're seeking.
I mean, like, Lotto may be considered below some people, but she has bars. Like, she can, I mean, if you come for her, she can hold her own. Yeah. She's beautiful.
Yeah, she's a better rapper than Ice Spice. Let's just put that out there.
Oh, man, Vlad. I'm cool with Ice. Lotto's mad at me right now. I'm cool. I don't want no beef with the girls. I don't even listen to rap like this, so I'm going to defer to you as the expert. Ice Spice has her own thing going on, though. She has her followers. She's carved out her lane.
Yeah. She's the hottest New York rapper right now. You think about it.
Yeah, she's doing her thing. You're messy.
I'm not messy. No, she's the hottest New York rapper right now.
No, but I mean, in terms of her being, her and Lotto, they got their beef going on.
I know. So I mean, Lotto's a better rapper than Ice Spice. Now, Ice Spice has the look. You know what I'm saying? And
they both got a look.
They both got a look, but I think Ice Spice being natural gives her a more universal look.
Yeah.
As opposed to someone who has like a lot of plastic surgery, like a Lotto. Right?
The comments associated in this interview are that of DJ Vlad.
I've interviewed Lotto before when she was mulatto. You know what I mean? When she was like,
dropped the move because she started getting attacked for being biracial, the whole biracial mulatto thing.
Someone told me this recently. Tell me if this is true or not.
Yeah.
Someone told me that mulatto comes from the term mule.
I don't know that it comes from the term mule, but I know that it was considered like I don't want to say racist or, it was like for mixed people we're called mulatto because we're mixed.
No, I heard it came from the word mule.
Really?
And if you think about it, it's kind of crazy because a mule is a horse and a donkey bred together. Yeah. But since they're different species, mules can't make babies.
Right.
Whereas if a black person and a white person made a baby like you, you can make kids.
There's no logic in colorism either.
It's
light
crazy.
Skin versus dark skin.
So I once you unpack that, you probably don't want to name yourself that.
But look, Lotto, she's mad at me because we had shared that she was in a relationship with 21 Savage, or we claimed that she was based on some stuff that we saw online, and she, her team wanted to pay me to take it down, and I said we don't do that. And she had put me in a freestyle, which she was the first rapper to do that in a nice way, one that mattered. All the other rappers who talked about me aren't even famous enough to mention. But I thought, like, her getting mad at me was kind of crazy. And then I've been developing this new relationship with Ice Spice, just via text message or whatever. I'm glad that all the women are doing their thing. Who's better? I guess the fans could decide. I think someone asked Lotto recently if Ice Spice would battle her on a freestyle, and she was like, does she want to do that? So I don't know. I don't even know
you saw what happened when she was on Kai Cenat's live stream, and he asked her to freestyle. She turned around and twerked.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that was her version of... Speaking of twerking, the BET Awards have totally lost their thing. I mean, I'm not going to just say my award show is better because it's mine, because the fans have been saying that. It was more classier and whatever. But this BET Awards this year... by the way, I'm never going back to BET Awards. It's lost its thing. Everybody twerking, everybody in booty shorts or sometimes, it wasn't what the BET Awards used to be. And then when I started really looking at it, I'm like, is this all of what rap is now? Like all hip hop, all female hip hop is, you have to compete with that. So that made me unpack that. Did somebody create a model of what the female rapper has to be in order to be put on or to be able to be put out?
It's been that.
What do you mean?
It's been that since Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown.
And it's never gone. I mean,
So since the 90s, it's been that.
yeah.
If you look at, aside from Lauryn Hill, every major female rapper has used sex to sell and usually has had plastic surgery and so forth to kind of go along with that. And this is, I've always found this kind of interesting, and you could actually answer this well, better than most people as a gay male. For example, you look at all the top female rappers, Nicki, Cardi, Lotto, etc. They all are almost, Ice Spice. They're usually almost naked. Most of them have, plastic surgery enhancements, breast, ass, lipo, et cetera, et cetera. They have their tongues out, everything else like that. But then you look at all the main male rappers, Drake, Kendrick, J. Cole, Jay-Z. None of them are selling sex on any level. The last male rapper, superstar male rapper that did that was 50 Cent. Remember when he came out, he had his shirt off, he was greased up in his videos, et cetera, et cetera, Why do you think that is?
Yeah. Well, I think there's that question, and just to take a step further, is why is it when it's female rap, not female pop?
Yeah. You're right. Good point.
Why is this image? Billie Eilish
isn't
come
doing that
out
at
with
all.
Everything super baggy, super.
Yeah. Now you're starting to see her body a little bit, but when she won the Grammy for Best New Artist, she was totally covered up.
When Billie Eilish first came out, she didn't even look like she took a bath half the time. I love Billie Eilish, by the way. Nice girl. Met her at Cardi's party once. Super nice. But I'm just saying, to the extent that she didn't even have to look clean, she could sing her ass off.
Yeah.
She was somewhere on a top of something singing with the dark. It was dark. You can't even see her. Because it was all based on her talent. I think with the female rappers, they just all based on sex, what you look like, and now Sexy Red, she's changing the game and it's going even further.
Yeah.
I know, I think that is designed that way, because Rhapsody is a phenomenal artist who's
and nobody cares about Rhapsody.
And you don't
unfortunately.
Play her, and you don't support her.
She's a great rapper.
Yeah.
Couldn't name you one Rhapsody song.
But that's because I think the industry is creating an image of what has to be in order for it to be. In order for it to exist, in order for it to get a marketing budget, in order for it to get the support of mainstream, that's what it has to look like. But that goes deeper into our communities, and it tells our kids that's what we have to look like. And I'm not shading any of the girls, because I love all of them. I think JT's new project is great. Her songs are great.
Another example, a girl who has her body done, that's,
Right.
her and Young Miami, definitely selling sex.
But they're not pushing how great her music is, because they're just focused on packaging it up in what, they want us to see. And I don't know. I mean, I hope that there's no I'm not even going to say I hope that there's no pressure among the women, but I'm sure there is pressure among
100%.
the women. Yeah.
I mean, even Lotto talked about how she got her body done when she was like 18.
But did she do that? Well, did she do that because that's what she wanted to do, or because of the music industry?
Combination. She said she kept reading the comments, and they were saying that she was built boxy and she looked like an old white woman. How mean comments are on the internet.
I remember when
we all get them.
When I interviewed her, she came into my studio. I remember she was very self-aware of what she looked like. She had this kind of short shirt on, and she was really, the way she was sitting and all that. Beautiful though, stunning. I mean, beautiful face, skin, all that, smile, teeth. But again, when you go in the strip club, that's what everybody look like. When you go online, that's what everybody look like. When I moved to LA from Stockton, California, where I thought I knew what beauty was, and then I was here for so long, I moved to New York for a year. And when I got there, I started seeing women, and I had my own self-realization that I had been tricked into believing what beauty was, and it was all fucking fake. And I'm not saying that every woman in LA is fake, and no shade to none of y'all. But it's a different standard, and then of what defines beauty. And then when you look at music, specifically in hip hop, I don't think it's fair.
Yeah, I mean, look, Ice Spice, like that one song, you think you're the shit.
Yeah,
I think musically, it's a brilliant song. The way she's riding the beat and the way the drum pattern comes in, I'm like, oh, this is dope. Like, this is actually musically creative. This is someone from a DJ ear and so forth, right? But, like, Ice Spice is a pretty girl. Like, no one's taking this away from her. But literally every time you see her, she has her ass out and she twerks. Mm-hmm. Every single time, 100% of the time. It's cool to twerk every so often. No one's mad at twerking. I like ass. Like, it's cool. But, like, it's almost like a requirement. Like if you're gonna show up, you're gonna have a thong and you better twerk.
Yeah.
Like, there's one video when she's doing a show and she's twerking and she just looks bored. She just looks like, I don't even want to be here right now. You know what I mean?
Probably got so much money she didn't want to be there, but I don't feel like they should feel like they have to twerk. But I mean, look, I feel like the industry right now, the music industry is still changing, it's still evolving. I feel like everybody's trying to do whatever they can do to keep up. Most of these
but look, listen to what I said in the beginning. Since Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown, this has been the standard. Now you can go a little farther back and you look at the MC Lights and the Queen Latifahs and the
Lady
Roxanne
Ray's,
Shantays, and you have a very different story.
Yeah.
But once Lil' Kim and Foxy came in the picture, Sex, Lil' Kim's first album's called Hardcore. She's sitting there with her legs.
It was a great album.
Legs wide open. No, it was a great album. Yeah. It was a great album. But, and then she started getting all the plastic surgery and everything else like that.
But that's where, like, that was Foxy and Kim, because I remember that era. They could have existed. You also had the Brat and all these other people. Where did the industry say this is no longer?
The Brat was gay.
Right, but I'm just saying.
So she had more of a butch kind of thing.
What I'm saying is she had hit records. I'm just saying, where did the industry say, we no longer want any of that? It just has to be this and that's it.
See, I don't think the industry really says that. I think the women want to do it themselves. Honestly, I think that you could say, oh, well, I feel I have to do this, and a Lauryn Hill pops up and kills everybody. Mm-hmm. Lauryn Hill won every Grammy that year. Did you ever see those pictures where she's holding like 8 Grammys?
Yeah.
Like, Miseducation is still being talked about to this day, which is why there was supposed to be a 20-year, concert. She came through not selling sex with, her hair was dreaded up. She wasn't wearing weaves or whatever else. Her body had no plastic surgery. She was relatively brown skinned. She wasn't bleaching her skin or making herself look light or whatever else. And the music just spoke for itself.
Right.
Unfortunately, there hasn't been someone on the caliber of a Lauryn Hill that's come around that really just, I think Nicki's a dope artist. She doesn't have a Miseducation album.
No. I'm not
no female artist does.
But let's go back.
Very few male artists.
Didn't it do Diamond?
I think so.
Yeah.
Cardi might be the closest, to
Cardi
that.
had songs like Be Careful, where she, I like it, I like it. So she did have music that was universal, that didn't have her doing all the, the stuff. And then she had some of the stuff too. I wish we could have more of that, a mix, where it's not all like,
enough.
My pussy stain, my pussy meat, pink, brown. Like, I mean, why we even know what color your pussy meat is a lot. But, and that's the thing that are getting the little kids. Like, now that I'm running for office, when I talk to little kids, like, they want to know the Sexy Reds, the Blueface of Krishans. Like, that's what they're dialed into.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But why wouldn't a Rhapsody get the play? She has the lyrics, she has the music. Is it because the market or because the industry's not pushing it?
Does she have the music, though?
I mean, I'm not going to say that I have a Rhapsody album on repeat. But if I've heard
what I'm saying? Sometimes
I've heard her songs in it.
Sometimes you want it to be that, but it's not always that.
But the radio's not playing it, though. The radio's not playing it.
Fuck the radio. Radio doesn't matter. It's all about streaming and what people gravitate toward.
I call streaming radio, too. I mean, all the streaming. It's not playing in those spaces like that.
A hit song is a hit song, man.
Yeah.
Like an undeniable hit is an undeniable hit. $1 Million Baby and stuff like that. Like, that song came out of nowhere from an artist no one's ever heard of, and it went number 1. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have an image or whatever else. The song just hit.
Yeah.
Rhapsody just doesn't have any songs that have hit like that.
Right.
Just is what it is.
Soak City is one of my favorite songs. Whatever that song is with Blueface and Soak City, I don't even know the name of the song. I don't even know the artist. Maybe it's Soak City, or maybe that's the artist's name. I just know the song, and I don't even know what they're saying. I like the beat.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. For people like me, that's not a hip hop head. I'm not dialed into every beat. Oh, that bar. No, I like the beat. Maybe it's the beats. I don't know. Vlad, your viewers right now are saying, why are you asking this gay dude about all this hip hop? So I know that they're saying that.
Well, Cardi said that Bia tried blackmailing her with a sex tape.
Yeah, she talked about, she said that they had a conversation or whatever, or there was some exchange where she had talked about having some proof of a sex tape that was going to come out.
With Cardi and Offset, or Cardi and someone else?
I don't remember. I don't remember. I think it was, she was claiming that Cardi messed around on Offset with somebody else.
Okay. but they were separated for a while. So
yeah, but Cardi's not that girl. You know, so like if you got it, so she was telling her to put it out. But she threatened to sue her, but nothing came out. I don't know Cardi.
Hey man, listen, when Cardi threatens to sue you, you should pay attention. Ask Tasha K.
Yeah, but I mean, Cardi's literally, if she's not with her kids, she's in the studio, or she's the biggest introvert. She don't go outside the house. I can't tell you 10 times I've said, hey, let's pull up to a restaurant and go out when we're literally both not doing anything and can go out. She's not that person. So
yeah, but she would cause a bit of an uproar if she was just out in public.
yeah, but I mean, we've gone out to restaurants. I mean, she can go outside, you know? I mean, there's private dining rooms, you know?
Okay, I'm just saying. She showed up at the mall.
Cardi was just at Target the other day, shopping.
And nobody said nothing.
They weren't bothering her. She was shopping.
All right, fair enough.
You know?
Fair enough. I've interviewed Cardi before.
Yeah.
Cool chick.
Yeah, no, she's cool.
Yeah.
She's cool. And I think that, yeah, man, but if you have a sex tape on somebody, why warn them? Drop this shit. I mean,
you can't really drop a sex tape.
Of course you can't, because it's revenge porn, it's all those things, legal things, but you could. If you,
I mean, you could give it to someone else, but if you drop it under your own account,
you're screwed.
You're Hulk Hogan and Gawker. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
And people have approached me with sex tapes and stuff like that. I'm like, I can't do nothing with this.
Yeah, same.
So go somewhere else with it.
Same. Yeah, but I just think, why even say you got a nuclear weapon if you're not gonna fire it?
Because you're bluffing.
Well, she called her bluff.
Yep. Complex put out the hip hop media power ranking list.
Yeah, we were on it.
We were both on it.
Yeah.
What'd you think? By the way, Elliott Wilson was on here the other day, and we went literally piece by piece through the whole 25-member list.
Yeah, he
picked it apart.
Where was he at?
He was 5. I was 6.
Here's what I will say. You were 6 and he was 5? Again, I know the people that did the list, and I was grateful to be on the list. I don't believe that
you were 23, by the way.
I was not 23. I was 11.
This year, you were 23.
Oh, they put me back on again?
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about the list.
Yeah, you're 23.
So I went from 11 to 23?
Yeah.
Well, Carisha was 7 when I was 11.
She's not on the list anymore.
But fuck a list, right? Here's the deal. My impact is felt regardless if I'm on a list or not. And the impact of that list was felt. Well, it wasn't felt because I didn't even know I was on a list. Yeah, I don't care about the list. What I will say is that I don't believe that you're 6. You're what?
6.
And Elliott Wilson was 5. When was the last time Elliott Wilson did an interview that went viral?
Well, me and him talked about that. And I said that, just to be honest, because, me and Elliott have that type of relationship where it's like, yeah, I felt that he was a little high on the list because the amount of content he puts out is not that high compared to other people that are on this list. You know what I'm saying? He has big interviews. He's had big interviews. Like, he did the Drake interview, and he's had Nicki, and he did Jay-Z and so forth. He's got legendary interviews, but he doesn't put out content and do interviews all the time.
So that's my point, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, you put out a dinosaur. Does that make you a dinosaur? No, it makes you did a great interview. And I'm not shading Elliott because I like Elliott. I mean, we talk in passing. He's not a friend of mine. He's not on my Christmas card list or anything. But when it comes to what's relevant right now in the pulse of what's moving the culture, Elliott Wilson's name does not come up like that.
Well, I think his point, and I think he has a valid point, is that when he does comment on stuff, on certain people, those people usually respond. Like, remember when he made comments about Nicki and Kai Cenat? Nicki, responded right away.
Yeah.
Both Drake and Kendrick responded to him. They both called him a rat. He's not quite sure why. So that does prove to his defense that he's relevant enough for all the big dogs to actually respond and listen to what he has to say. Yeah. So that does show relevance.
Yeah, and I'm not saying what I'm saying as a way of shading Elliott. Let me be very clear. But that's not happening on an everyday basis. The pulse of what's moving the culture every day is not coming from Elliott Wilson. And so, again, I don't know what this list is supposed to represent. I don't know how you go from 11 to 23 or why I'm even on the list, because I'm not a hip-hop platform. So when you talk about hip-hop media, are you saying because I'm black? Black is not necessarily hip-hop.
You do enough hip-hop.
Yeah, but
coverage. You interviewed me, and I'm hip-hop. You know what I'm saying?
But I am not a hip-hop platform. So when if you want to say, top 25 of influential media, whatever you want to say, I
see what you're saying. Like, Shade Room's not on the list, but you are. And Shade Room is obviously a big
but they're
urban
not.
platform.
But they're not hip hop either.
But they overlap. And I see what I'm saying, but they're not on the list. So it gets weird sometimes.
You're in hip hop, okay?
Yeah.
Academics is, where was Academics?
1. Academics 1, Joe Budden 2, Kai Cenat 3, Charlemagne 4, Elliot 5, me 6, Ebro 7, Anthony Fantano, Danilo Drop 8, Gillian Wallow 9, Nardwar 10, Nori 11, Lil Yachty and Mitch 12, Rory Mal 13, Bootleg Kev 14, Angie Martinez 15, Big Boy 16, Angela Yee 17, Sway 18, Nadeska 19, Trap Lord Ross 20, Van Lathan 21, Adam 22, you are 23, Arshawn Jawade from Kids Take Over is 24, and Gay P from On the Radar is 25.
Yeah, see, all those people belong on the list. I'm not a hip hop person. So, if you ask me what bar in Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us was the best, I don't know. A minor, that's the longest one in the club. I don't fucking know. But again, I don't really care about the list because it didn't make me feel great when I was number 7. It doesn't make me feel bad when I'm 23. Thank you for putting me on the list, Complex. But, and again, no shade towards Elliott Wilson. It's these lists that come out. When they said Carisha was number 7,
yeah,
it puts out an interview once every 3 months. Okay, I love Carisha.
But how they just announced a new season of Carisha, Please.
Yeah, and I love what she has done with that show, and I can't wait to see what she does with it coming back. But the list, I'm not a list guy. I want an Emmy. That's what I want. I want an Emmy, maybe a Golden Globe or an Oscar someday. But I want that. But I'm not dying for it either.
Yeah, when I saw that Carisha Please is coming back, and I saw it on Baller Alert. Shout out to Robin. I left a comment that said, Carisha just opened her mouth. Someone go hand her a BT award right now.
Well, because she got the BT Best Hip Hop Platform
twice.
Yeah. Again,
yeah.
That's why I'm not going back to the BT Awards anymore. Not only that, they had invited me in, you got front row, camera seats and all that, and then they put me in like row 15 with Lil Boosie and Lil Mama. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Shout out to Lil Boosie. Thank you for connecting with him, by the way. Still waiting on you to bring your ass to the show. So yeah, I'm not going back to BET Awards. And then how do you, again, no shade towards anybody. I'm only answering questions if Vlad is asking me. If he did not ask me, I would not be saying this. Okay, I do not believe that Carisha Please deserved the BET Hip Hop Podcast of the Year, whatever.
Yeah, she actually tied
with
Nori,
yeah,
which was wild. Because Nori really put in work. Yeah, like Kanye, and
it's just
Nas
insane.
And everything.
That just goes to show, the lists and the awards don't really matter. I mean, they're nice when you're putting in the work and you're doing as much work as you're doing or I'm doing or Nori's doing, but I don't lose any sleep off that.
Now, at one point, Hollywood Unlocked was on the Revolt YouTube channel.
The Jason Lee show was.
Which is different.
Yes.
Okay, but no longer. I looked.
No. Jason Lee show is only on Hollywood Unlocked.
So what happened with that deal, and why is it no longer on?
Yeah, so the whole Jason Lee show came about for me being petty because I was really close to Wendy Williams. She got sick. They asked me to host her show for her opening week of season 18. When I went to host the show, I had all these ideas. I'm going to bring this person, this person, this person. I'm going to do this. They loved the ideas. These were guests that they couldn't get. And then the owner of the show said, well, who's going to co-host with you because you're not big enough? And I just was blown away at this 70-year-old white dude who didn't know what I do and wasn't familiar with anything that I had been able to accomplish at that point in my relationship with him.
Well, I don't think that's that crazy of an ask. Let's keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? We're still new media, and you're talking about television. It's not a shot at you. And if they asked me that same question, I wouldn't be offended.
Thank God they asked the question, and thank God I'm not you, and I got offended. And I went and created my own fucking show.
Well, so did I.
No, but I'm saying I needed that moment to go and do it because I had been meeting with them about having my own show. So we had been meeting about the Jason Lee show, creating a Jason Lee talk show, 5-day-a-week, daytime syndication. I've been to Fox, I've been here or there, because that was my vision of what I thought Jason Lee needed at that point to have a show. And so when he called, what he said was, hey, Jason, it's your lucky day. So my lucky day is you calling me to give me a show. My lucky day was to serve as a replacement for Wendy for her first week, which would have been an honor because she's the queen of daytime talks, queen of daytime tea to me. And so when they asked me who would co-host with me because I wasn't big enough, you know, at that point I just said, fuck you. And I left. And I went and I created my own show, The Jason Lee Show. So my fuck you to them was, let me get it on a network. Let me get on a black-owned network. Let me beat you in the ratings and show you what I can do and book all these guests. And I did that. So I did a 23-episode deal with Revolt. I launched with Cardi, then I hit back to back to back. And we were killing them in the numbers. I think at the time, Sherry was on, and we were looking at her numbers, and we were looking at the numbers we were doing. And we were doing a lot better. And then after the contract expired, it was a licensing deal where I still own the show. I just felt like, you know, I want to do it on my own. You know, I want to do it on my own platform. You know, I look at people like you who are built out your own platform, and I did it just as kind of like a fuck you. But after I did the 23 episodes, I left, and then all the shit happened with Puff, and it was, you know, happened before I left before all that.
Yeah.
So that was that.
Did Puffy threaten you at one point?
You know, he said some off the wall at his house. That was a threat, but it wasn't like a threat that I thought at the time, like he's going to carry out and do something. He just basically, you know, he had a little too much to drink. And I think you know, I was taking a picture in his house and I said, you want to get in the picture? And he walked up and he just said, you know, don't try no funny shit with me because I'm not that nigga. Like, you know, it'll be a problem. So it was a threat, but it wasn't like he was going to kill me. But I thought maybe he just had too much to drink. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You want to get in the photo or you don't want to get in the photo? And he ended up getting in the photo. And then
what funny was he referring to?
You know, people have this idea about me that I'm lurking in bushes to find the tea to go and tell what you're doing. And, you know, I think that he probably had other things going on around him, clearly, that he didn't want anybody to know about. And I'm in his home and, you know, he's welcomed me into the family at Revolt. And I think that was his way of kind of like level setting with me. Don't report on him or don't just, what I got from him was like, don't report on him or do to him what I do to other people or whatever he may have heard to other people. So that was his way of letting me know, which I just said, like, do you want to take the picture or not? You know, because unless you're going to, well, I can't say unless you're going to kill me. You're talking about Puff, because you never know.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Because you being gay, I assume your gaydar is more sophisticated than everyone else's.
I mean, listen, we don't even want to go down the trail of human sexuality with me because I think very differently than a lot of people.
Okay.
But I'm not going to say if I think Puffy's gay or not because he never tried to fuck me.
He never tried to fuck you. No. But do you think, like with me, and I've said this multiple times, you know, me and academics had a whole talk about this. We both feel that if Puffy just came out and said, hey, I'm a bisexual man, this is who I am, all the no Diddy stuff would go away and people would just accept him from who he is. In 2024, I almost feel like you get elevated when you come out as gay. Like, show me one person who came out as gay that people bashed him. I can't think of anybody.
You know, I don't have a tracking system for who's coming out, so I really don't know. I don't even know who's in or out. If I see somebody that's attractive, I don't care if they're in or out or under or above. If they're attractive, I'm gonna pop my. They can say I'm not gay or I'm not gay right now. Or I'm not interested. I'll back off and I'll move on to the next person.
Have you hollered at straight men and they're like, hey, bro, I'm not?
Of course.
I can tell you this one time.
My exes have been straight.
Okay.
They're still straight.
I remember this one time in Israel. My first trip in Israel. It was a group of us. It was all like kids who just graduated from college. And me and like this one girl were like dancing and doing our thing. I was dancing with a bunch of the girls. This Israeli dude kept staring at me. He walked up to me, he said something in Hebrew, and started to bite on my shirt. Just went, arr, arr. And I said, okay, I'm done here. I just walked away. I said, okay, that was a little too real. But like, I never got mad. Like, I never understood why straight dudes get mad at a gay man hitting on them.
Well, that's the question you have to ask academics.
What do you mean?
I mean, didn't he have the whole blow up with Saucy Santana where he got mad because Saucy said something to him that made him feel some type of way and then,
well, no, it was a little more sophisticated than that. What happened was Saucy said, I'm going to or something. Well, I mean, maybe and the thing is, and what he was saying is that he couldn't actually reply because then he would be gay bashing.
Well, here's the deal. I think
But I don't think it's right for a man to say, I'm gonna rape you, and everyone thinks it's funny.
Well, I don't think it's right for somebody in Israel to go chew on your shoulder either, because that's like invading your personal space.
Absolutely.
But let me say this. I think that the reason why I bring that example up is because I ain't gonna lie, I enjoyed, and academics, you know, we cool. I enjoyed watching the academics and the Saucy Santana shit play out because I knew Saucy Santana was gay as hell. He was being the most gay. Saucy made me uncomfortable when he was so gay. Okay, Saucy was being so gay, and violating him so bad. And then on the other hand, I know that academics want to say he wanted to call him so bad, but you knew you couldn't do it. And to watch that tug of war, oh, it was the most beautiful piece of art that I have ever seen on social media between gay and straight. But it was really giving people a dose of their own medicine. And the reason why I bring that up is because I think being gay makes people it forces people to reveal who they really are. If you are homophobic, like for me, if I get mad at a white person, I'm not going to disrespect them for being white. Like, I'm not going to call them a name, a slur for being white. If I get mad at a Mexican, I'm not going to get mad at them for being Mexican or start saying things, because I love people for who they are, and I hate assholes. So, like, if you're an asshole, I'm going to rip you apart for being an asshole. I may talk some crazy because I have a real vicious mouth by way of my grandmother, but, like, I don't go straight to that. So, like, when academics gets mad at a Saucy and that stuff going on and he's crying because he wants to call him that reveals how you feel about gay people. Even though I've sat with academics and he treated me with respect, but I also know that I fly under a certain veil. You told me on my own show that I'm a different type of gay, right?
You're my one gay friend.
So
honestly, so I feel a little silly for saying it because it makes me sound ignorant, but the reality is you're my one gay friend.
No, but I love that though, and I love that for my community, because as much as I'm Black and I stand up for the culture, I also realize, having gone through this experience of watching people become exposed, like Floyd Mayweather become my best friend and having a gay friend he can lean on. You know, I like the fact that I can have these kind of conversations, but, you know, as it relates to this situation, or what was the one we were talking about right before I brought this one up?
Diddy?
Diddy. You know, again, being able to tell whether a person's gay or not gay, or hollered at a straight man or not, I roll through the earth having a human experience. If I see a guy that I think is attractive, and I talk and I hit on him, and he says, "Oh man, I'm cool. I'm not with that." Okay, cool. Just like a guy will walk up to a girl in a club and hit on her, and she not with it. She didn't find you attractive. You not into me. Don't find me attractive. That's just human nature. Now, when you start biting on a motherfucker or doing all the extra, now it's getting a little weird, because I don't want to be bitten. You know. Funny story.
Well, he didn't like bite me like in the show, but he started like chewing on my shirt.
He should be chewing on your shirt. It
was weird as hell. Like, it was honestly the weirdest thing that's probably ever happened to me, just being out in general. It was just weird. And I'm in a foreign country, so I was just like, let me just walk away and hope he doesn't follow me.
I'll tell you a celebrity story. I had a crush on Kelly Oubre, the basketball player.
Okay.
And I mean, I would post him on my social media, on my story. Because if you put somebody in your feed, that's real gay. But on your story, it's like kind of gay, but you can't see the comments, so it's not that gay, right? So I would post them on my story. I'd post them on my story. And I would post, you know, whatever. And so one day, me, Serge Ibaka, and Tiffany Haddish go to Kendall Jenner's party at Fashion Week, and we walk in. As soon as we walk in, Kelly Oubre is standing at the door, and he turns around and he goes, "Oh, man." He goes, "Bro, first of all, I know you love me, and I love that you love me, but I ain't gay." And I'm like, "Damn, bro, like, you couldn't have said hello? Like, I just got here," you know? But it was that interaction where, you know, yeah, I'm a gay man and you're straight, but I found you attractive and you told me you're not attracted to me. You know, now that he has a girlfriend, I unfollowed him, you know, or wife or whatever, I don't know. I'm not as invested. But yeah, I don't know if Diddy's gay. If he is gay, will people care? No, because I think people already think he's gay. But we live in a cruel world where people won't embrace people just being themselves. And that's why you have a lot of people walking around faking it till they make it. They make it, they still faking it. They're afraid to come out. They're afraid to live in their truth. And I refuse to be a free man walking and a prisoner in my own mind. So,
I mean, look.
With me, you get it.
If you get off at watching men bang your girl while you masturbate in the corner,
that'll make you gay.
I guess it doesn't totally make you gay, but you're now flirting with gayness to
I'll
a
give you a
certain
step
degree.
further. Here, this is brace for impact. Okay. If a man goes to a hustler sex store and gets the biggest dildo penis of a person he watches in porn, and then goes home and gets the most slippery lube he can find and has anal play with himself, that doesn't make him gay. Some would argue that. I understand. I get it. I understand.
I wasn't ready for that last part.
No.
I thought you were going to go a different direction with it.
That does not, because that is self-pleasure, and that is not a homosexual act with another male. But because of our community, our culture, our beliefs, how we were raised, we believe that that is gay. And there's a lot of people right now in the comments saying, fact, that's gay, that's gay, that's gay. And everybody's entitled to believe what they want. I'm just saying, like, every man that I've interviewed who's had sex with multiple women do not see them as lesbians, because it's just, I'm big dog, I got the girl. No, if they're having a sexual intercourse with each other, that is a gay activity.
100%.
But most men in our community will not identify that as being gay. That's why I don't even argue human sexuality with people. Believe what you want.
All right, here's a little gem here. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this publicly before. Someone I know, a big dog in media, said that they were sent a DVD. Okay. So, you can see how old this story is already.
Elliot Wilson. No, I'm just like,
no, not Elliot Wilson. Someone that everybody knows.
Okay.
They were sent a DVD, or they popped it in. It was a rapper that everybody knows with a girl, and the girl's using a strap-on on him.
Okay.
Is that gay?
No, because she's a girl. I know. Look, listen. Everybody right now is clutching their gay pearls because they're like, Vlad, why did you bring this gay man on your show to tell us that this shit ain't gay? This is not trickery. This is just whatever. And again, I think that everybody has their own feelings about what human sexuality is. I think that people should explore whatever they feel comfortable with and then decide to be what they want. Or be led by your faith and believe that certain things are an abomination. If that's what I'm fine with people believing whatever they want. But the reason why I promote sexual fluidity or sexual exploration is because I believe that people should be able to be happy with who they are. I know so many people, and there's a rapper, I'm not even gonna say his name because I'm sure he watches your show, and I know he knows I gave him, I did a big one for him. This trans person had sent me text messages and nudes of this person and their exchange and all that, and they were trying to out them. And I talked to that trans person about how bad it was for our community to out the person, because this is the very thing that makes people violent towards people when they feel like they're going to be outed. And they never outed him, but I definitely hit the rapper up and sent him the pictures and the text messages, and we got on the phone. And for me to be sending it to him, they were pretty uncomfortable.
I bet.
Because, it was Jason Lee from Hollywood Unlocked doing it. But, I told them, I said, at least be careful how you're moving around, but at the same time, be comfortable with who you are. This person will never come out, will never share. But, those are the things where, like, I feel bad for the people who aren't able to live in their own truth. And I will say that I'm grateful that the people that I've had experiences with, that I will say our relationships have been people that have either been straight or wanted to explore, or that were gay, or that were straight, explored, and went back. But nonetheless, I was fine with the experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird thing, man. I mean, I've gotten into arguments with women, who I was in relationships with, and they're like, you're gay. And it's like meant to be an attack.
Yeah.
And I'm not gay at all. Like, honestly, like if I was, I'll say it. You know what I mean? I'm 51 years old. Like,
but that's because you're solid in who you are.
Yeah.
But a lot of people like,
but they weaponize that thing. You know what I mean? Like,
of course.
Like I said, like gay people will remember the whole Will.i.am Perez Hilton fight that happened 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Like Perez called Will the F word.
Yeah.
And then, he got punched.
Yeah.
But like, here's a gay person calling a straight person a gay slur.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't quite get it, but
Well, it'd be like a black person calling a white person nigga, and then that white person turn around and calling him that. You know, I mean,
is that what it is? They're trying to bait them into saying
like
it back. Okay, there we go.
Like gay people, we own that word, you know, which is why I said it earlier, you know, and you know, but I think that I just want us to live in a world where we're more not even tolerable, because tolerating is just being able to accept it, but like really accepting it, embracing diversity. I love that I can go and do an interview and give you that, but also talk about politics and the stuff that actually matters. And I feel like when I meet little kids who are like, hey, can I take a picture with you? And I can, my gaydar kicks in, like, this is a young kid who's potentially gay. You know, I know that they're looking at me as somebody that made it, or that is successful, or that looks like them. And that's why when I went to Wild 'N Out, I told Nick, all my fucking jokes are gonna be gay. Love and Hip Hop, I told him I will not let you share my sexuality. But Wild 'N Out, because I know there's kids watching this very masculine, very testosterone-driven show and not seeing themselves, you know? And that's why all my jokes were gay. And it was great.
I remember I had this one tweet that went viral, and this one gay TikToker dude with he had like a cross on his face, was like, "You're so ugly." And I'm like, well, I'm sorry you don't find me attractive. Unfortunately, I'm not into men, so
yeah,
it's cool. Like, I'm not tripping right now,
yeah.
You know? I'm sure you'll find some young man that you could find more attractive than me. But this does not hurt my feelings.
And what, that your response went viral, or his comment went viral?
Well, my original tweet was going viral already. I forgot what it was. Okay. It was about me being broke at one point or something, and people questioning it or something. And he just decided to chime in. It's like, oh, you know, QU culture vulture or something. And,
oh, wow.
You know, there was some back and forth. But I never used any gay slurs towards him. But, you know, I responded to him. I think my response was like, you're going to regret that face tattoo later in life.
Yeah.
You know, and he was like, you're so ugly. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry you don't find me attractive.
The one thing that I will say in my journey of becoming having notoriety is that I had a different gay experience before I became famous. Like, I was never called until I was 44 years old. You know, I've never been attacked for being gay. I've never been treated that way. And I have friends who are maybe more feminine, or that, you know, may dress a certain way that may look gay or whatever. And they've had a very different experience. I didn't even realize the stuff that some of my friends were going through until, that's why I've taken more of a responsibility to talk about it. Sometimes, like, I went on Cam Newton's show and I give the most wildest responses, because I want those conversations in that platform to go viral, like this platform to go, for people to be able to look at it, because there are men watching this interview right now that are probably saying this, but they're on the weekend. And I'm sorry. They need to be able to sit with themselves and digest, no pun intended, that. Because I live free. I wake up every day, I extend my arms, I take a deep breath, and I love everything about my life. And there's been times when I have not loved everything about my life, but those were circumstances, death, or different things around me that happened to me. But in terms of like embracing who I am, I'm happy with who I am, and I want more people to be happy who they are. When I was on Cam's show, I said, I know there are, as I was telling the story about, because he was asking me, how can a gay man and a straight man or whatever, I said, there are women right now in the kitchen cooking while their men are turning the TV down because we are spilling their tea. Like, they're hearing their own story. And I know I have a lot of straight friends, and they feel very comfortable with me, like, as you were saying, you know, you're comfortable with who you are, you're not worried about what somebody else is doing. Yeah. But those that start getting that little itch, that little discomfort, that's because there's some shit under there.
Well, yeah, no, I think if you're homophobic, like if you feel like you have to hurt gay people somehow, is you're struggling with your own sexuality, your own demons, and this person is bringing it to the forefront. Mm-hmm. I've never, you know, there's gay people I don't like for a reason.
Yeah.
But there's never been a gay person that I dislike just because they're gay. It seems silly to me. Like, how does this have any relation to me? Like, I love women. I love pussy. Like, I love ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I like titties. Like whatever you do has no...
And some of those straight guys watch your show like that too. That's why they like sleep with trans. So, I mean...
The thing that happens, I think, that limits friendships between gay men and straight men is the mannerisms, right? For example, you mentioned Saucy Santana. And now Saucy denied this happened, but this is not something that I would just make up, right? I'm in Manhattan. This is like maybe, I don't know, a year and a half ago. I'm in Manhattan. I called the Uber Black, you know, the black SUV. I show up and the driver's like, give me a second, you know, the person's kind of taking a while to get out, whatever. Saucy Santana jumps out. So I'm like, oh, okay. Because I remember at one point we reached out to Saucy about doing an interview and he was like, oh, DJ Vlad wants to do an interview. I'm scared. Big old tweet, like, you know, all these A's and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, so Saucy knows that we reached out for an interview, but they never responded, right? So I walk up to him and I'm like, oh, what's up? You know, I'm Vlad from VladTV. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, oh, if you're ever interested in an interview, he was like, Now, when I brought this up in the academics interview, Saucy DM'd me and said, that never happened because when I'm in Manhattan, I have a driver. His name is so-and-so, so I'm never in an Uber. And I'm like, okay, Saucy, first of all, I'm pretty sure your driver probably also does Uber. You know, I mean, I don't think he's your 24/7 driver that works for you full time.
Right.
Right? And why would I make up this story? I'm not dissing you. I'm not saying you know, like I hate you or whatever else. It was just this weird, like, this like kind of this bitchy kind of weird sort of like, you know, it is like a put off, like, because it wasn't exactly respectful. It wasn't totally disrespectful, but it wasn't respectful. So with me, I kind of walked away with it going like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to form a relationship with Saucy here and so forth. And throughout my life, I've had these types of sort of interactions when dealing with gay men. I get this sort of, this female bitchy over-exaggeration thing that sort of turns me off because I feel like, well, we're still both men here, so we should be speaking respectfully with each other. One of us shouldn't be acting like a bitchy 13-year-old girl. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that, to me, I think has been the problem. And this is why me and you have been friends for a long time, because you've never done this.
Yeah, but
you never acted like that towards me.
I will tell you, that's because I like you. There are people that you will talk to, Vlad, believe it or not, who will say, he's a fucking psychopath, or he's this, or he's that. There are different people that have different interactions with me because let me let you want to know something. I don't like everybody. And because everybody in this industry, not everybody, but a lot of people do not know how to keep it real. They lie. The one thing I got from you that you told me that is hands down now, it's an alarm that goes off when I hear it, is if a celebrity or a person promised me to come on my show if I do this, that should never happen. Yeah. I got played. I ain't gonna even tell you who, but
tell me off camera.
I'll tell you off camera. But you know, it's like now my personal space as it relates to celebrities, very, 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 very few people in a real way. When it comes to gay people, straight people, in terms of mannerisms or whatever, I feel like everybody kind of has their thing. I was in the car with two straight guys the other day. They were having a conversation, and at first I heard them talking, but I wasn't really dialed in. But then as I started getting louder and louder, and they were just saying some real, like, I think straight men, all they want to talk about is ass pussy, ass pussy, ass pussy, ass pussy, and it was going on, 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 on. And I said, you know what? I want to start talking about some dick. Can I just throw some dick out there? And they were like, what? Because that's how it sounds to me when I'm hearing you guys talk about titty ass, titty ass, titty ass, titty ass, titty ass. So I think that people are people, and people do things that may be their thing within their groupings or whatever. But I do know what you're saying, that, you know, for me, I don't have a bunch of friends that are very sassy. I'll say sassy. Sassy Santana.
Good word for it.
Okay? I don't have friends that are very sassy like that, because I have a temperament that I can go from having fun and enjoying it to being extremely fucking annoyed, and then now there's a problem, you know? And it's usually my car, and I will put you the fuck out. So yeah, I get it though. But you know, that isn't always energy that anybody wants to be around. But that's why I don't hang around with girls. Believe it or not. I used to, when I first moved to Hollywood, I had all the pretty girls and would take them all out, and we would go out, and 14 girls, and me, I was the only guy. Not anymore. You will see me with one girl, and her name is Sarah, and that's it.
You said that you've been in relationships with guys that robbed you?
Well, I had a friend that was one of my regulars that I would hang out with from time to time, and that person I believe is the person that they didn't rob me at gunpoint, but they stole the Cuban link that Cardi bought me for my birthday. Yeah, they stole it out of my house.
Wow.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, I bought a couple more. I learned I got a safe now. Put my jewelry in a safe.
Yeah. Charge the game. You know, sometimes you gotta
Every
just charge
L
it to
is
the
a
game.
lesson. You know,
Yeah. Every L is a lesson.
The scary part of sleeping with somebody who would rob you is that to me that idea that we're gonna go to sleep and lay next to each other, but you're plotting to steal from me.
It's happened to me before.
Happened to you?
I had a girl rob me, yeah.
Yeah.
Not, yeah, I mean, take money out of my wallet and stuff like that.
That's crazy.
It's happened.
Yeah, and I'm not even that kind of person. Even when I
It
never
wasn't even
had
that much money. It was like, you went through all this for like $100? Like, okay.
Yeah,
That's
but
weird.
even when I didn't have anything, I was never the type of person that would think about like preying on people that I'm
Hey,
cool with.
man, some people just like stealing.
Yeah.
It's just a thing for some people.
I get it.
You know,
Yes.
it's a short, you know, it's a short-sighted way of thinking, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, you and Rihanna and A$AP Rocky
Yeah.
have been friends
Yes.
for a while. In fact, Rihanna gave you the first photo of her first child
Yes.
to actually show to the world.
She blessed me with that one. Her and Rocky did.
Okay, yeah, exactly. What's your take about A$AP Rocky beefing with Drake? Because I believe there's a new...
Is there a beef?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah.
Like a recent beef?
Yeah. Well, remember Drake gave him some bars on Family Matters.
Vlad, you're asking a gay man who don't pay attention.
hold on.
I don't know. I don't know anything about their beef because we don't talk about those things. So I wouldn't know.
So Drake said, Rakim talking shit again. And of course, Rocky, that's his real name.
Uh-huh.
Rakim talking shit again. Gas because you hit my BM first. Do the math. Who I was hitting then. What Drake is talking about was that he used to mess with Rihanna.
Listen, okay, you want to finish that so I can...
I'll just finish. He said, I didn't even know you rap still because they only talk about your fit again. Probably got to have a kid again before you think of dropping any shit again. Even when you drop, they're going to say you should have modeled because it's mid again.
That's a recent song?
Well, that's Family Matters. That was during the whole beef with Kendrick.
Yeah, but nobody really heard it.
No, people heard that song.
Well,
Yeah, that was the big Drake song
Yeah.
out of the battle.
Let me say this because those are two grown men that whatever they got going on, they'll figure it out at some point. But Rocky is happy in his relationship and she's happy with him. And I think anybody throwing Rihanna out in a bar is kind of whack when it's meant to hurt her or him because she's bigger than everybody we're talking about.
Rihanna's bigger than Drake?
She's not. Bank account bigger.
I think it's
Bank account is
probably...
bigger. You never heard Drake in billion. Now, if you say Drake's a billionaire, Vlad, I'm getting up and walking out of here because you know damn well that is not true. Maybe in Canadian currency, what is the I don't know if you take a couple $100 million US and Canadian dollars, flip it, and maybe it's $1 billion Canadian coins. I don't know, but you know, again, I don't want to get into all of that because those.
No, you're right. I mean, when I looked it up, Rihanna has a alleged net worth of $1.4 billion.
So her conversations are at an altitude
you know,
higher.
Drake, they're saying Drake is 250 million, which I think is a little bit low.
Okay.
He's probably maybe $500 million.
Okay, round him off to half. He's still half of. He's
Probably about a third.
A third of. You know, so it's sort of like those are when you have tax bracket conversations, you kind of got to like stay in your tax bracket.
Okay, fair enough. Well, why do you think, based on what you know about the relationship, they now have 2 kids together? How come they haven't gotten married?
You know, I would never talk about her relationship.
I figured that was going to be the answer, but
Yeah.
you know, still got to throw it out there.
Yeah, because you know, I was on my way over here today, and I said he gonna ask me a Rihanna question. I know, but let me say this. I genuinely love that girl. Like she, you know, she held a dinner with me recently to help me raise money to help the kids back home. She came to the dinner by herself, stayed the entire time, met with every single person, took pictures of everybody. She's just a different type of person. So for that, I mean, I want to respect her relationship and whatever they got going on. But I will tell you this, if she gets married and I'm not invited to the wedding,
It's a problem.
I'll come back. I'll get invited. It's kind of fucked up to just like flippantly throw Rihanna's name in a diss track though, like she's some random girl. Like,
well, he didn't actually put her name in.
But even the
it.
reference. You're talking about one of the most successful artists, most successful brands, and youngest black billionaire right now in our country that we know of. That's a woman of color who got it out the mud, who you couldn't even hold on to. And why even mention her? It's like a dig, but you know, I think he'll always be reminded, unfortunately. And you know, I love Drake. I've known Drake for a long time. We're not friends, of course, now because he's Drake and he's a big superstar. That makes digesting what happened with Kendrick even more challenging because, you know, I don't know. And let me leave it at that. I wish them all the best.
Well, I mean, that's not the first time that he's alluded to Rihanna. In the song No Lie that he did with 2 Chainz, there's a bar in there that I know someone that, you know, is from the camp that said that's actually there's a part of the song where he's talking about Rihanna.
Rihanna's happy.
Yeah, very much so.
And Rocky's happy.
Yeah. Knowing what you know in terms of your relationship with Rihanna, will she ever drop another album?
Of course she's going to drop an album.
What do you mean, of course? It's been about 100 years since her last album.
It's not been 100 years. It's been, what, 8 years?
That's a long time, man.
It's been
and
8
obviously
years.
She doesn't need to drop one because of her financial situation.
Yeah, but I think she loves music. I think that she loves her fans. I know she loves her fans. She's in love with her fans, and they're in love with her. But I also love that her fans have allowed her to become a mom twice, allowed her to fall in love.
What do you mean the fans have allowed her? I mean,
because her fans have been asking for an album, but they haven't been burning her posters and burning her shirts and burning her makeup, and you know what I mean? Because some fans can go there. You know, they haven't been. You know, they've been supporting her brand, and she's built a phenomenal brand,
massive brand,
and done a lot with her foundation. And we went through COVID for 3 years. I mean, so I know that she's not gonna give up music. People believe she's gonna give up music.
Yes, I think she's gonna give up music.
I don't think so. I would bet you.
You want to bet?
I'll bet. How much you want to bet?
We got to give it a time frame.
Oh, shit.
You can't just say whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, Lauryn Hill's coming out with a second album.
How about this?
20 years later.
Okay, we'll give a time frame, but I don't know anything, but I'm definitely going to text afterwards so I win the bet, and I'll split it with her, too. Nah, I don't know.
I'll give you 1 year. Do you want to bet for a year?
I don't want to do a year.
Yeah, see?
2 years. 1 year.
That confidence went down a few notches. Like, she's definitely dropping an album, but not within a year, though.
I mean, the woman loves her fans and she loves music. And
well, listen, and plus, it's kind of like she's a mom of 2 now. Yeah. So it's like, and the last album, was it Anti was the last album?
Yeah.
Was a huge monster. So then you got the whole Cardi B situation.
See, the thing with her, she loves, I think she loves music, but she loves her fans and they love her to the extent that I think they're waiting for her. And once she drops the album, I don't see a Rihanna album flopping. You don't see a Rihanna album flopping.
See, but a flop for someone like a Rihanna is different than a flop for anybody else.
I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Double platinum, she might consider that to be a flop.
But we wouldn't.
We wouldn't.
Her fans wouldn't.
But for herself.
No, I understand.
You know what I mean? Because last time she's performed at all was that big Indian wedding. Remember?
Yeah, but before that, remember when she did the Super Bowl, everybody, including Stephen A. Smith, were saying, oh, she's not going to do like big as Beyonce. And she went and she has the most watched Super Bowl halftime of all time. So, I mean.
Yeah, she was pregnant at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, and she revealed her pregnancy at the time.
Exactly.
So, like, and she was way up high in the sky and up and down and all the shit.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that she's one of those people that have continuously been, like, doubted or questioned, and she continues to kill it. If she doesn't drop an album and sell 10 million records, is it a flop? No. If she doesn't do it, they'll say she flopped. I mean,
it's a weird situation.
Can't win for
like
losing.
I said, it's almost like a Dre thing. Like Dre's last real album was 2001, which was considered one of the greatest hip hop albums ever. And Detox or whatever hell he was supposed to come out with for all these decades, you keep hearing tracks that leak and it just never comes out. Yeah. The last real album he dropped was Compton, which was the soundtrack to, Straight Outta Compton, which most people thought wasn't very good.
Right.
So
it's the soundtrack, though.
Yeah, but it still has his name on it.
Yeah, but nobody says, hey, man, that soundtrack was the best album of all time.
Yeah, but there are soundtracks that are incredible. So it's...
Purple Rain.
Yeah, exactly. For example, Purple Rain. So, yeah.
But that was like, yeah. But that was Prince. That was a Prince album.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I don't know.
Well, it was his movie as well. So, yeah. Now, you're running for councilman for District 6 in Stockton.
Yeah, so after all the sex talk, after all the...
You wearing the shirt?
I'm wearing the shirt.
Jason Lee.
And let me tell you why I wore the shirt today, knowing that you were going to ask me some crazy shit, some other shit, because everybody back home, they're voting for somebody that they know. I want them to see me for who I am, accept me for who I am, and elect me for who I am, not for who I portray to be. When I decided to run for city council, and I've been in the game and meeting with the people running it, this state rep, this senator, this congressman, this assemblyman, this mayor, this, that, I've been meeting with all the people who have been lied to by a lot of these people, because a lot of them have been promised things over and over and over and have been used as a political step stool. I don't want to be governor. I don't want to be senator. I don't have any interest to do anything beyond this role right now. But yeah, I mean, we beat everybody in the primary. Now we're going to the general.
Okay, so what exactly does a councilman do? Because for most of us, we vote for the president and then we go back to our lives, not knowing that there's 100 other ballots, for people on that ballot.
We skip everything else.
We skip everything else. The judges, the DA, the councilman, the mayor, everything.
So the DA is the one who's taking your daddy to jail, or who's putting you in jail, or deciding to prosecute in your city.
And is also protecting the rights of the victims and so forth. It's not just a bad thing. Yeah.
It isn't, but that person is the most powerful person in your county, because they are the ones that decide who gets indicted, who doesn't.
Right.
The judges, with the type of judge, the type of person you want deciding what your sentences are, or what, how your community is kept safe if a person's sentenced or sent to jail or prison, or if a person's released. But your councilman and mayor work together as a city council, as a body, to decide everything related to the budget that governs your city, from potholes to how they handle the dogs, your parks, your pools, all the city, all the trash, all the things that matter, but also businesses, permitting, crime, overseeing the police department. There's a lot of things that the city council is responsible for. In Stockton, there's $1 billion budget that the city council oversees, and all the city departments fall under the city council.
How many councilmen are there? Just one?
In Stockton, there's 6 city council members and 1 mayor. So there's 7 votes.
So you're going to be one of 6.
I'll be one of 7. One of 6 councilmen, but then a mayor.
That's what I'm saying. But you exclude the mayor because that's a separate election, right?
Well, we're all being elected at the same time.
Right, but I'm saying, but the mayor...
The mayor has
its own ballot.
Has its own, yes.
And the 6 councilmen have their own ballots.
So we have our own ballots, yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
What is the pay for a councilman?
$29,000 a year.
$29,000 a year. So clearly you're not going to get rich off.
Less than this watch.
Less than that watch.
Yes. I could buy 3 of those 3 years can pay for this watch. Yes.
Well, then there's taxes. So actually 6 years.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't get caught for tax evasion.
Yeah. No, not at all. Won't be getting me. But I've already said I'm donating my salary to this athletic commission I'm creating in my district.
So when is the actual election?
November 5th.
November 5th. Now, you grew up in Stockton.
Yep.
But last I checked, you don't live in Stockton.
I do.
You do now?
Yep. I live in
so you moved back to Stockton.
Yeah, I mean, I have a house here. I just got rid of my condo in Miami because I don't make it over there anymore. But I still have a business in Florida. But I live in Stockton, Western Ranch, in the district that I'm running for.
So you decided to move back home while still running a business in L.A. Because how far is Stockton to L.A.?
45 minutes.
Oh, that's it?
Yep.
Oh, why did I think it was farther?
No, it's Northern California, 45 minute
I'm
flight.
thinking Bakersfield or something.
45-minute flight or a 5.5 hour drive.
Okay, 45-minute flights.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
So, but it's a long drive.
5.5 hours.
5.5 hours is long.
Not if you leave at 3 in the morning.
Okay. Clearly, you went back home as opposed to trying to run for councilman in Los Angeles, which would be a totally different beast.
Correct. Well, it wouldn't even be the beast for me because I spent 11 years as a union organizer and a director of a labor union. So running a campaign is literally just boxing out your area and then running a field plan within that area. So it's not about it being a different beast, because I know the mayor of Los Angeles. I've worked with her to get somebody out of prison in Kansas. I helped her on her campaign. I know a lot of people who have high
Are you talking
visibility.
about Christian Rock?
No. There was a young man from Stockton that got incarcerated in Kansas. He got arrested.
Where did Christian Rock get it? Oh, maybe it was Oklahoma.
Dante Westmoreland, he got arrested for 1 pound of marijuana, got 8 years in prison.
Oh.
I had interviewed Mayor Bass when she was a congresswoman, and she was telling me the issues with prison reform, and she helped me negotiate his full pardon. Now he's exonerated, and he's a businessman in the cannabis industry. But anyway, I could have ran in LA if I wanted to, but I didn't want to, because my heart. I have heart in LA, but my heart is back home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so when is the election?
November 5th.
November 5th. Oh, around the same time as all the
same day. So same day as the president. Yeah. So we
Okay.
ran the primary. There were 6 of us. I beat them all, and then now it's just me and the person who holds the spot now. She's a vice mayor of the city and councilman for my area.
What about the other 5?
So there's only 2 other seats open now. They run on off years. So there's
Got
just
it.
the mayor, and 3 of us are running right now.
Got it. So this will be your first official elected position if you get elected.
When I get elected.
When you get elected.
Absolutely.
Okay, and is this something that's going to be your focus for the remainder of your life, or is this just something you're trying out now? You see what I'm saying? Because obviously you have Hollywood Unlocked, and that's what's paying the bills,
Yep.
and that's what's doing, taking up a lot of your time as well.
Yeah. So it's Hollywood Unlocked does not take up a lot of my time because I have a full staff that run everything. So when I decided to run, when I made the decision, okay, I'm gonna do it, I hired a couple C-suite people to manage everything, hired some salespeople to manage everything on the sales side, and I put my company on autopilot. Shout out to Rob Smith, who runs all of that, and Healthcare Unlocked. When it comes to being able to do the job, I'm not gonna get rid of Hollywood Unlocked or the Jason Lee Show. I've structured everything where I shoot 2 days a week, so I have to be in LA 2 days a week to do that. But other than that, this is going to be my full-time commitment, even though it's a part-time position. And I'm going to do it for 8 years. I've committed 8 years because to really change the community the way that I want to, it's going to have to take more than 1 term. But I've already started working to, find people that are aligned with my vision and that want to take the city where I want to take it, who can join committees that I'm going to have and oversee and that can work to take my place when I decide to move on. But this is not a new, I have an aspiration to be the governor. That's not my focus right now. My focus is just the next 8 years in Stockton.
Yeah, I just interviewed Governor Wes Moore, who's the governor of Maryland.
Nice.
Who was actually the first black governor of Maryland
Yeah.
and the 3rd black governor ever to get elected in America.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 3rd ever.
That's wild.
There was 2 other ones who took office because the actual governor got impeached or stepped down and so forth. But in terms of elected governors, 3rd ever. And in fact, there's never been a black female governor ever in America.
But this is why I think more people that look like me, who live in communities that look like us, that aren't happy with things, should step up and do it. I mean, since I've been back, I've been just galvanizing the community to get active, doing leadership workshops for young people. We had just 300 kids a couple weeks ago do a whole leadership workshop and taught them how to organize their school, how to organize their peers. We just did a big event 2 days ago with 600 people in a park for National Night Out. And I've been just educating people, registering to vote, and getting them excited again about being active in the process. Because like you said, most people, they'll just look at the president, but the president isn't the person that necessarily controls everything that you're experiencing every day.
No, not at all.
So
yeah, it's local government.
It's local government.
Yeah.
So I don't think people saw me doing it, but why not? I mean, you see Hollywood Unlocked, you see my job, but before that, I spent 11 years actually doing this. And thank God, people back home, they know me and they knew the work that I did before entertainment.
As someone who is mixed yourself, when you hear people like Trump that say that Kamala Harris isn't really black,
They say that about me.
do they?
Well, yeah, because we're mixed. Because
Exactly.
because we're happy.
Yeah, so I'm saying, as someone who has been through that as well, when you hear people say, because Trump was like, is she really black? She's black when it's convenient and not black when it's, she's Indian when it's convenient.
That was, I've heard that many times. I've not heard people say I'm black when I'm convenient. I've heard people say you ain't black Mexican, so stop talking about that. I'm not even Spanish. I have no Mexican blood in me. Like, I'm like, well, I'm Mexican.
Wait, so what are you mixed with
I'm
again?
black, Italian, and Greek.
Got it. Yeah.
I don't talk about being Italian and Greek all the time because that's not how I identify. But I do talk about it when I'm asked what I'm mixed with or what my mom or this or that. Because I think when people see me, they see a person of color. You may say I'm Dominican or Puerto Rican or whatever, but everybody who is mixed has had the experience of not being black enough to black people and not being white to white people. So you're kind of in this weird space. It wasn't until I read Mariah Carey's book where she talked about her own experience, and I text her like, yo, this is a book that every mixed person needs to read because we've all had the same experience. And I didn't even know there was a community of people that had, felt that way. But when I look at it, what I love about the vice president is that she's not defending her blackness, because once she gets into the tailspin of defending being black, oh, I am black, or I was black, or she went to HBCU, she's from San Francisco, or from the Bay Area. If you go and watch all of her interviews when she was in the Senate and when she was as a DA, and she's talking about what she's talking about, you see a black woman talking. But the whole argument of not black enough or too black, that's the conversation I wouldn't even participate in, because you're never going to win that.
How do you feel when people try to run the false narrative that she got 1,500 people, mostly black men, locked up for marijuana while she was a DA, which actually isn't true?
Yeah.
55 people actually went to prison for marijuana during that time, which is about half the number of the DA before her.
Yeah.
And also keep in mind, during that time, marijuana was illegal.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that the people that got locked up were probably in there for like 200 pounds and stuff that they would probably get locked up for today as well. Mm-hmm. But the whole thing is like she locked up thousands of black men for weed, which is legal now.
I think the thing that bothers me the most about it all, besides the fact that it's not true, is that most of the people saying it look like me, and they haven't done the research. And it's really embarrassing, to be honest with you, that we're that ignorant to facts when Google is a free search engine. You know what I mean? I'll even make it easier for you. ChatGPT it. Because the other day when I was seeing all this stuff about her, I just went to ChatGPT and typed it in and all the facts came up. So the information is there if you want to find it. And then let me also be clear. I haven't endorsed Kamala Harris, and I'm not out saying we have to vote for Kamala, although, there's going to come a time where I'm going to publicly say who I want to support. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm just letting the dust settle from all of the energy around her announcement, because it's great that we have good energy going against Trump, because I thought that Trump age shaming somebody who was 4 years younger than him was crazy. And Biden, I've met him. There's a video on my social media where
Biden is older than Trump.
There's a 4-year age difference between the two.
Yeah.
Biden is older than Trump. But what I'm saying, he was age shaming him for the 4-year gap. And of course, because if you talk to Biden, he's somewhat looking through you and not to you.
Well, no, the cognitive ability of Biden was very clear. As soon as I saw the debate, I said, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
And I was right. Me and D.L. Hughley got into whole arguments over this. And I'm like, he's going to step down. And I was right.
Yeah. But I mean, them questioning that was fair. But now it's a fair fight because Kamala is tough.
She's younger than him. She's 59.
And she's smart, and he's going up against a black woman. So now what I'm watching is it went from like this assassination attempt Trump to where like, oh my God, my life changed and I want to unite the country, to like he's clearly threatened by her, and now he's doing all this political dog whistling and attacking her, and you're attacking a black woman that's you're never going to win.
Oh yeah.
Because one, she's gonna out argue you or out debate you, but also now other women are you're gonna turn women off. I don't know. It's been an interesting thing, but I'm also intrigued by how much money Kamala's raised and how least she spent with black-owned media yet. And so when we talk about DEI,
that's interesting.
When we talk about DEI, when we talk about the importance of investing in black communities and all that, you raised $200-something million. You haven't spent $1 with black-owned media yet, that I know of. And now, Roland Martin, shout out to him, because he and I put our differences aside. He reached out to me and he's talking to me about them spending money in the black media space. But as of today, less than 90 days away from the election, and millions and millions and hundreds of millions of dollars raised, there's been no equity in that. And I can tell you that if we pull her campaign reports or we look at how they're all spending money, they're spending money with non-black owned media companies because they're riding on the free hope of the black person to say, we got to vote to save democracy. And that's the frustrating part. that I've had with this administration, because I built a relationship with the vice president in the administration over the last 2 years. And there's this new guilt thing going around where everybody's calling me, checking my pulse to see what does Jason think, what does Jason say, because he's the one that's going to say whatever he wants to say, and I'm still going to say whatever. That's why I had Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on my show. That's why I've reached out to Trump. That's why I reached out to Dr. Cornel West, and that's why I've reached out to the vice president, because I'm a platform to interview people. But this guilting of we got to just bandwagon now and ride the wave, because the blue wave, because it's just the way we have to save democracy. Yeah, democracy right now is being threatened because the Democrats have relied on black people just being invested in protecting democracy, and then the Republicans have been in many ways pandering in a way that is, equally disrespectful. And then somewhere in between, if we don't figure this shit out, our country's not going to be what we know it to be, and then who's to blame for it? So I'm just sitting here waiting to see how they allocate the resources, how they stand behind the words that they say and walk the talk, because, interviewing Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was very eye-opening for me.
Yeah, I did an interview with him about a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting to see how it all plays out. But it's been a very interesting thing. I'm proud of the campaign that Kamala has now, because I will say that having been around the White House is it's the president's administration, and then there's the vice president's team that's a part of that administration, but they're very separate and they function completely different. And so whereas people say, well, she was a very unpopular vice president and she was in the shadows, because that was her position in his administration. Now that she's out, now you see her. And this is the Kamala that I see in private. And she is a strong, intelligent woman, and I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, and I feel like when Trump first took office, black people were bashed just by standing next to him. Steve Harvey caught all that flack just for having a meeting.
Of course.
Kanye wearing the MAGA hat was a whole big thing, and so forth. But now a lot of black people are openly showing support for Trump and standing behind it, which you just didn't see 4 years ago, or really 8 years ago.
Well, Amber Rose and I were friends. I'm not going to say we're enemies, because I still have love for Amber. I actually posted a really nice message about how two facts can be true. She can be totally wrong, and I can love her. And I do love her. She unfollowed me recently, and I unfollowed her back, because that's what people do whenever they don't agree or whatever. But she was mad that I posted a photo of her on my page that I saw circulating that had a tattoo about "Don't support Trump" or something on her face. And she felt like, as a friend, I shouldn't have posted it. But I also feel like she's somebody who stood for the gay community, the trans community, women's rights, do what you want with your own body. And then now you're over here with Trump, who's clearly like the complete opposite of that.
Anti-abortion. Convicted sexual assault. Where else can we go? Grab him by the pussy.
And you know what's crazy is Amber fell into that category of not black enough and or too white or not white. And so she understands that space. So to be there and have a black woman running who stands for women's rights, who stands for LGBT, why? So my question on her social media when she unfollowed me was, what you gonna do now? You didn't see this in the bingo card, but now that this is what it is, are you gonna switch? But now she just did an interview with Candace Owens. So like, how do you sit? Now it's like
I saw that. Yeah.
Now it's like, are you being paid by Donald Trump, and are you now like the MAGA mascot because there's a bag involved? Because the Amber that I thought I knew, that's not the Amber that I thought I knew.
Well, there is I would say somewhat of a conspiracy theory, and I think she's even addressed this to a certain degree, but what people are saying, I don't know if it's true, right? So Amber, please don't sue me. I don't know if it's true. But Amber had a lot of paid posts, Instagram posts, about cryptocurrency coins, which a lot of them end up being scams.
Mm-hmm.
And the theory is that she potentially is facing federal charges over promoting these things, because a lot of people lost money. There was a lot of crypto scams during that time. And what people are saying, which I don't know is true, and I think she even addressed it somewhat, is that she's cozying up to Trump because she may need a pardon later on.
But what happens when he loses?
Well, I don't think Kamala's going to pardon her.
Of course not.
What I'm saying? So
she's rolling the dice.
She's rolling the dice. That's the theory. I don't know if it's true. It's an interesting theory. Because listen, but Trump has a track record for pardoning.
Of course,
Kodak
rappers,
Black,
yeah,
Lil Wayne.
Ray J's gonna get one if he gets pardoned. But if he gets arrested. But the thing that's scary about
Ray
that.
J get arrested?
No, I'm saying if he ever did. I mean, not that he would, but I'm just saying, like he talked about Trump on my show that they're friends.
Okay, got it.
So I just Black folks really believe that their stimulus check came from Trump when it came from a Democratic Congress that Trump made them put his name on the check. So I just want people to start researching. This is not a pro-Kamala speech, and although I've been posting a lot about Kamala on my page, it's because I want people to get information that they would not otherwise go get. But I'm not at all saying that Kamala, the vice president, is perfect. I love Kamala as a person, but her team, some of her team around her, I think, have kept her in a bubble that has not allowed her to embrace and connect to the culture the way she is now. Now she's doing it, but it's a campaign season. And this goes back to what Charlamagne said to me a long time ago. He said, man, don't be excited to be invited to the cookout, because as soon as you criticize those people, they're going to put you on the you're not welcome list. And then when I criticized them, I started to feel the relationship change. So now I have to bypass most of the team and go straight to her through another person. But it's one of those things where I'm sitting back waiting for the dust to settle when all of the excitement around this energy of the campaign goes away and we start just really dialing in on what people are doing. Because I am going to publicly ask, and I'll start today, where's the money at when it comes to advertising? I think it's a fair question to say, if you're out talking about equity, you need to be the person walking the talk. So if you just, they glorified, Kamala raised $250 million, $300 million in 10 days, but you ain't spent 1% with Black-owned media, but you the Black. You know what I mean? Because you're riding on the hope of the slave. And that, to me, the slave of media, the slave of industry, the slave of the Democrat-Republican bullshit, I'm not feeding into that. And that's what I love about my race. It's nonpartisan. I've met Republicans who feel they have a certain need in the community and Democrats who have a certain need in the community, and I'm bridging that gap because I'm registered, and I'll share this. I've never shared this publicly, but I'm registered as a Democrat. But, when you make lots of money in California and you're having to pay lots of fucking taxes.
Oh, yeah.
You start to go, wait a minute, I'm socially liberal, but I'm fiscally conservative.
I feel you.
And so I understand being in the middle, but what Amber's doing that's not the middle. She's just far right at this point to me.
Well, I mean, you mentioned the slave thing a couple times, and you've actually said that rappers are new slaves for people like Michael Rubin and only reach out when they need them.
Damn, where'd you get that at?
You said it, though.
Vlad does his research. I did. I've been to Michael Rubin parties. I actually love what Michael Rubin has been able to do. So what I said was not a dig to him. And I'm not saying this because I want to be invited to his parties, because he ain't going to invite me after what I said. Because when I said it, I said, I'm not getting invited anymore. It's cool. In fact, I think that's probably why Tiffany Haddish doesn't get a +1 anymore, because I was her +1 once.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Tiffany. The Diddy white parties used to be the party that the culture went to. Okay, all of it. We all went. I remember Diddy. I think I met Amber Rose at a Diddy all-white party at Prince's house back in the day. And there's a picture of me, Chris Brown, Quincy Brown, and Amber Rose. We took on the dance floor as Demi Moore was swinging on a swing and Ashton Kutcher was swinging on the other swing, and Lindsay Lohan. Okay, it was Tyrese is performing. It was everything, right? And now it's the Michael Rubin all-white party, right? And that's why next year we're launching the off-white party on 4th of July as a way of just as a dun-dun-dun-dun. Because now this is the party that everybody wants to go to. But that's where now you have the little baby there, the picture scandal with Michael Rubin. Every grown-ass man know not to be hanging all over no man like that in our culture, in our community, because of what it looked like. Not that it should be taken that way, but what it is. But there's two photos. I think it's him, and then Meek Mill has one too, right?
I mean, there's a lot of Meek Mill photos that are very sus. I mean, the matching outfit with Diddy was,
maybe they were just twinning.
I don't know, man. I don't know. You my man, but I wouldn't dress like you going out one day.
I wouldn't dress like nobody. That's gay. But look, I think that, the culture has been co-opted and hijacked in many different ways. And I think as it relates to the all-white party and Michael Rubin in particular, when I look at there's this desire and affection for whiteness by these people, is different than them saying, why don't we build our own? Because Travis Scott can build his own. I don't know if he has the business acumen to do it, but I mean, if all of those rappers who do the party had their own, they would all be at their party. But I think that they believe that that validation by that world is one of which that brings the value. Same with brands and branding. You know, a lot of these people will go and do a brand deal for all these brands and not own any stock in it or have any equity. Unlike a Dre, who was brilliant with beats, like none of them think about the value that they add to the culture, and that the fact that the black dollar is circulated and the black brand association makes other people go and buy it. Why not create your own or build one as a community? Why? They over there. And it's okay. But yeah, I call him the new slave, and I stand by that.
That's what it is. Jason Lee, man, me and you go back a lot of years. And it's always been a positive experience.
Always.
Whenever we've met up on any level, whether it's having dinner, doing interviews, or just getting on the phone and chopping it up, man, you've always been solid. You've always been 100. You've always been transparent. I always know what I'm dealing with when it comes to you, man. You came to my platform. You called me up, said, come do my show. I sat for, it was like a long interview. It was like almost 4 hours or something.
And we didn't even plan for 4 hours, but it was so good.
I was like, yo, keep asking me questions. I'm here. I don't have any more plans today, you know, and now I hit you up, you know. You came to, you know, did my show. If you want to do your show again, I got you.
Yeah, but you know, you drop gems too. Like when you told me that one time with dinner, you go, have you been sued? I go, no, come on, stop playing with me. I ain't
you get sued.
I get sued a lot.
Yes.
And now I'm like, oh, okay, but I must be doing something right, because it is, you know, the money grab thing is just, it is what it is.
I mean, I'm getting sued right now over an image. I mean, it's just life. It's a cost of doing business. And this is why you have lawyers, and you have to have good lawyers so you don't just get hosed. Because I remember once I paid up way too much.
Yeah.
That's where I got a better lawyer.
Yeah.
And that's just life, man. You know, there's going to be a few, you know, falls and slips, you know, when you start a new business. You learn, and you learn how to, you know, you also learn how to stop it before it gets too big.
Yeah.
You know, to try to save money early on.
Yeah.
You know, you get your ego out of it and so forth. But listen, congratulations on everything you've done. Yeah. Congratulations on your upcoming election.
Yes, register to vote.
Register to vote.
This year, everybody should be registered to vote. However you choose to vote is your choice, but vote. Get registered.
And congratulations on your brand and all the big guests that you've gotten, man. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
That's what it is.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.